Playing a Podcast Network stream of Mythic Odysseys of Theros. Now let's get Skype up so we can hear the rest of the players. Dun, dun. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Ah, somebody else just joined.
Alright. Something seems weird.
It's weird, but we can hear you that it's weird. How's everybody doing tonight?
Okay.
Doing alright. Wondering what I did with the notes I wrote last time, but whatever.
What'd you say?
Wondering what I did with the notes I wrote last time, but whatever.
You had them. That's the important thing.
Yeah. I mean, what is more befitting of Aurelius than making a bunch of important notes and then just misplacing them?
That's 100% in character. I applaud this. That's meta as hell.
The best part
So
is...
guys,
is
I'm pretty sure some important things happened yesterday, but I may have been drinking, and that could have been a strange but beautiful dream.
Some storyteller comes following behind your group like 3 months later, and he's like, I found this great story! Tell me how it ended!
I'm sorry.
Was that a cat meowing for attention?
Yeah, that is a cat. I actually have... Miss Agatha, do you want to show up on the screen this time?
Ah!
You want to show people who...
I was
Am I
gonna
torturing
say,
you?
are you okay after that scream?
No, I just saw this fuzzy thing and then a cat appeared.
I don't know how to take that, especially this late at night after work.
She's adorable.
I got a
She is
ferret
special.
running around here somewhere.
And I'm downstairs.
I only have one floor, and a ferret could climb stairs anyways.
Ferrets are
Yeah,
adorable
that's
going
true.
up and down stairs.
Well, I mean, so can my dog. The door is shut.
I'm still trying to figure that, and he's only like a foot.
Jumps up and pulls on it.
It's just, I just don't get it. And as for kitty gates, pet gates, yeah, that doesn't work either.
Nope.
They either go through it, over it, around it, under it. I mean, here's an animal that would crawl under the carpet if it could find a way.
Yep.
Yep, I just blew the greatest roll I'll ever have today. Doing a test.
You got that natural 20 with high damage rolls and everything.
Yeah.
It's going to be the one you wish it was later.
Yeah. 14. That would kill me.
3 points.
Oh, that's how I always am.
I know, and I'm hopefully jinxing you so I get an extra round out of my bad guy.
Yeah.
See how it works?
Yeah, but then when I roll well, it's like a string and it just keeps going for like a half hour.
Then it's a horrible explosion.
Just like slaughtering droids or we did demolish a whole bunch of droids.
Yeah, that day was a wrecking crew run.
There's only 3 of us too.
And screen, I was like, oh crap, I reduced everything because it was just the 3 of them. I'm gonna add some more when that first despair shows up. And thankfully it did.
Oh, not like that one game where what did we have, like 10 double
Mhm.
triumphs? Oh, Jesus.
Where it was nothing but triumphs all day long.
I think everybody what David had on.
It was nasty. And of course, David expects not to get triumphs.
See, that's what he gets for owning cats.
Are you saying the cats jinxed it?
Yeah, they're evil. They're evil creatures.
I
I had a
As a
bad
cat
ex-
owner, I'm not disagreeing with this.
I've
at this
got
moment.
2 of them in
Yeah,
the
you
house,
know it's the
so
cat.
I agree.
They're like, whatever.
I had a really bad
100%.
experience in high school with a cat. Evil creatures.
I'm here, guys.
Hey,
Yay!
Yay!
somebody do me a favor. Roll me a 1d6.
1d6.
4. I like that. Doesn't really do anything, give or take, but just gives me some things.
We all rolled on d6.
Oh, nice.
We'll go with the first roll that came through, which was the 4.
Okay.
Which is magic weapons. The Nyxborn creature's weapon attacks are magical.
Yay! Wait.
By that way, that does like next to nothing because nobody's like vulnerable to magic here or anything like that, or have magical resistance. So y'all don't have to worry about that.
Yet.
So is everybody here?
Evan?
Yeah, I'm totally going to give Evan crap because right now he's got 10 o'clock tonight. His Facebook group's now got a play-by-post game. Which sadly, with work, I did not have time to make up a character and slap it in the play-by-post. But if you are all bored between turns, you could definitely jump on there and make a character for his Star Trek-y game. It's more than Trek-y, but it's pretty much Star Trek-y in my opinion.
You know, some people have to work.
Work? What is that?
It's an evil thing that brings the money thing, so you could like eat thing and have shelter stuff.
Oh, yeah. I did that once. I think I have to do that again soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to go to Phoenix for like 2 hours and then come back tomorrow.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been playing so hard lately.
I could sleep in till 7 o'clock though, so you know.
Wow.
So
Normally,
really
I get
sad
up
thing
at-
for me is after daylight savings, I don't have to go to work till 10 o'clock, but I'm working till 6:30.
Boo.
So my late night gaming groups will be all, hurry up and get out of work so you can come play.
Isn't that how we are anyways?
True that.
Even on Sunday?
Ah, yeah.
Bastard.
7 a.m. I'll be on my way to get a root canal.
Ooh.
I'd rather work.
Right?
Yep, all
I
of
go
a
back to
sudden,
Nogales. I just spent an hour and a half trying to get over the border from Nogales, and I got to go back in the morning.
You know, the worst part about a root canal is having your jaw shoved open for 3 hours.
Yes.
that pain from getting kicked in the face through
No,
the
that's not-
tooth.
That's not as bad as having your jaw just because then you can't close it for 2 hours afterwards.
Mhm.
Right. And I have a tricky jaw anyway. Like, it doesn't like to open all the way, and it clicks. So it's not good.
Oh, so it's not aligned properly or whatever.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'll live.
It's a little disconcerting at certain times.
But the fact that you can get a root canal and then come back to game at the end of the night shows that you are an OG gamer.
No. I'm getting the root canal tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I thought
Hey,
you
just
got
remember-
I tried it that way on purpose.
Okay, I thought you got it today, and I'm like, are you sure you're
No,
gonna be
today I
okay?
was all the way down in San Carlos. We were supposed to come back yesterday. The people who planned our scuba trip for us to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go do 3 dives, be back off the boat at 11:30, and immediately like jump in our cars and drive 6.5 hours home and make it across the border before it closed. And I got out of the water and I was just like, nope, not doing it.
Well, you can definitely tell that she didn't have a root canal done today because you not talking about this.
Right? Yeah,
I re-
get the games tomorrow.
I remember when I had my wisdom teeth pulled. So they put my arm in this brace so they can do the IV. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna get this weird taste in your mouth. Okay, yep, there it is. Okay, count from 10 down to 1. By the time you get to 1, you'll be asleep. 10, 9. I feel an hour and a half later.
We put you to sleep. That's nice. I just had one 4 weeks ago. I had a broken, infected, impacted wisdom tooth pulled out.
They did all 4 at once.
No anesthetic.
Yeah, no, they did all 4 at once. So they knocked my ass out.
That'll be a lot.
Yeah, they gave me Valium when they took all 4 of mine, but 3 of them were impacted. So
I only 2 of mine were. But then I still have a hole on one of my sockets that just hasn't closed.
I threw down 1 to go.
Okay, so it's been a while since we gamed last. Do we need introductions with everybody and what their characters are?
I think Evan's the only one, but we'll see.
Yep, looks like most likely he's not going to be joining us today again. So we're down a paladin. We're gonna have to get the paladin crap. He found some granny on the road who broke her sandal, and he had to carry her the whole way. That's why he's late to this party. Because that's what a paladin would do, right?
Right?
sure.
Pick up the little granny and her wagon and manually carry him down the way. So where last we left off, you guys were dealing with the trauma of the Oracle coming in there, making friends with your Oracle, and finding out that there's a death dog stalking about that chewed on a couple of the local tough guys. And you guys are making a great plan of A, staying at the wine house overnight, because that's always a good plan, and then heading out in the daytime to go hunt the death dog, rather than being murdered in the darkness, chasing it out in the dark.
But first, we need to check and see if our patients survive the night.
Well, thankfully, the first thing you do is when you go and check on your poor injured patients in their room, you realize that thanks to the combination of the magic pulchus and the healing skills of our cleric, that the disease did not rot them to death in their sleep. And they seem to be recovering in the morning.
Well, that takes the fun out of it.
As, of course, your host is giving them wine because that's what they need to get their strength back.
So
they need.
I've been working on a song in the middle of the night about the symptoms of this disease. Should someone ever recognize it again?
Of course.
No, I'm not the world's greatest musician, so you'll have to give me some pointers on whether this sounds right to you. The lyrics as such at the moment are, crawling in my skin, these wounds they will not heal. Fear is how I fall, confusing what is real.
My ears are bleeding.
There's something inside me that pulls beneath the surface, consuming, confusing. This lack of self-control, this fear is never-ending. Controlling, I can't seem to find myself again. My walls are closing in. I don't know the rest of the song, unfortunately.
Oh, thank God. Sorry.
And this is how the bard gets folks moving in the morning.
It's a great start. Keep working at that.
No,
Okay.
no, absolutely not.
I was thinking about going down to the park and trying it out. This is how you link up
vegetable.
Okay, so why don't you guys make whatever plan you're going to make. Well, I step away really quick because in real life I just got to go grab some laundry real quick and throw it in the room. Damn real life. I'll be right back.
Right?
So last time there was a peasant that was willing to. Ow, cat is scratching me.
See? Evil.
This
Yes,
is
I
not a
know.
gift dog.
So, there was a peasant that was willing to show us where the other two people were attacked. I was thinking before that it might be wise to go to the witch woman and see whether we could get more of the cure, just in case we get bitten by the dog.
That's a good idea.
We paid her enough to buy like an entire cow yesterday. Do we even have any money left?
Well, maybe. I wasn't really thinking too much at the time, so maybe we could see whether she still has some goodwill left over and is willing to.
I suppose it doesn't hurt to ask.
It never hurts to ask. Worst comes to worst, we could like buy a chicken and like give it to her, or we could like try and find some herbs for her in the forest, or maybe she wants some dead dog parts.
Yay,
Dog.
fetch quests.
Dead death dog.
Yeah, she could probably make potions from its.
Or maybe
Ooh,
she wants to be paid in a song.
You could go on a limb and say probably not, but who am I to judge? Just remember when you're in the park that sometimes people get so excited by your fantastic music that they toss you free vegetables. So don't be startled by that.
Okay. No, I've had that experience before. I mean, it's very lucky that I'm related to goats because I do not turn up free vegetables, no matter. Some people don't know the quality of vegetables they have sitting around, and they should check their produce urns more often.
Yeah, they don't understand expiration dates, I think.
Yeah. I don't know how sort of Greeks numerated things now that I think about it. What are Greek numerals?
That's a good question.
Anyway.
I have no idea.
Okay, so we're gonna go see if we can prepare ourselves ahead of time instead of dragging carcasses back.
Yep. You have
And
any
then how are
other
we
sort
gonna go about hunting this death dog?
Does anyone have any particular skills at tracking? I know nature, but I don't know survival.
I'm decent at tracking things.
What happened here? Why'd my sheet go blank?
Oh my everything.
Bad thing, that's why.
Shoot. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, the monk might be okay at it, just because he has a higher wisdom than average.
Why is my sheet blank? James!
He's getting his
What'd you
laundry.
do to my character? There we go. Nope. There we go. Let's see. I have a 2 in survival
I do as well.
I have a -1.
and a 1 in nature.
So,
I have a
Clearly-
-1 in nature.
Okay, so do you have a plan?
sort of. So we have we were planning on stopping by the witch woman's to see whether we could get some more of the medicine in advance of being bitten by the dog.
Ah, that's a good plan.
Yeah.
So if one of us can figure out how to track it, then I'll just play my bagpipes until it cries and puts its paws over its ears, and then you guys can grab it.
You mean your boob pipes?
Yeah.
Be honest.
That's a good
They're
picture.
boob pipes.
Yeah, they do kind of look that way a little bit.
Okay, so the witch woman unfortunately tells you that I gave you the big bag last night.
That
Okay,
was
so you can't make up any more of this right now?
That was like 2 months' supplies right there. Where's the rest of it?
Oh, you were supposed to use all of that right away?
And then she remembers, oh yeah, you had 2 people covered in bites. I guess I could see why you would have used it all at one shot.
well. You said one bag was for one person, and the other bag was for the other person.
But it takes a very long time for me to chew and ferment those leaves properly.
Okay, so if the problem is spit, could we do a trade of like for like and I could swap spit with you for some more?
Oh,
And then she's like, cider spits.
Yes.
Come give Granny a kiss.
Turn.
Nom, 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 nom.
I think my normal banter is. I'm used to bantering for free drinks, not with witches.
She's like, give us a kiss, love.
Okay.
not a witch. She's a
Medicine
Tender
woman.
Am I going to be getting herbs and spices for this?
Would I know?
Yeah, for
would I
roast
know
beef.
based on medicine? Could I make a roll to see if I could figure out how to make this without spit?
You could try with medicine.
All right.
It's the worst that happens.
What's the worst that happens? You roll a 1 and I tell you exactly which berries that you need. 21.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you know for a fact that, with the right, if you could get access to the right, medicinal herbs and, healing kit, you could easily make the same thing as she makes without doing fermented spit, because she uses nature to make hers, because that's the kind of midwife she is, even though the satyr calls her a witch.
That's not how I roll, literally.
Whereas you're like, there's this wonderful thing called alchemy, and you can use it to do these great things. I mean,
might you be willing to let us give us the recipe for this, and then maybe we can make some of our own, so not as to bother you as much? I mean, we did give you a very generous donation yesterday.
And she gives you this look like, so you want me to sell the goat instead of milk it, huh? She gives you this look like you're trying to steal business from her.
I would promise to you, upon my honor, on my goddess, that I would not sell this to anybody else or make a profit off of it.
I could definitely throw in some spit.
It's because he's part goat, and you know how goats like to spit.
Not as much as camels.
Maybe we could gather some herbs for you while we're in the forest. I've definitely studied nature in my academic life. I have not spent so much time in it, but
So
I've heard of it.
she is willing to sell you, by the way, basically an alchemy supply kit for 50 gold, if you have that much.
How much?
50 gold.
What?
No.
Okay.
I don't think we have that between us right now.
Because these are rare and exotic items, and that's actually the going price. She's not price gouging you. But
I have maybe a tenth of that.
But she is
No.
willing to show you the 3 herbs that she uses to make that concoction.
That is a much more amenable
As
suggestion.
She has you go back, and she lays out the herbs dry and fresh, so you can get a good example of, these are the 3 herbs I need you guys to collect for me while you're out. Because normally it takes me 3 months to collect as many as you used last night. And now you're kind of realizing, oh, little old lady walking around the bushes. Yeah, that would take 3 months. After all, you guys carried her last time, so you didn't have to wait 2 hours for her to walk down the street.
Yep.
All Naruto style. So she will give you guys an example of each one of the fresh leaves that she needs you to collect. But you can save your spit until they've been collected.
All right.
Because they have to
So
be chewed.
she doesn't have enough of it to make it right now.
Correct. Yeah, she's basically out of supplies.
And spit.
And
If
it
we
has to be
overturn
chewed in
alive,
the...
I will regale you with a moving ballad on my Ascomandora.
Ooh.
And I can write you a nice. I'm working on a nice ballad about helping people recognize the effects of the death dog bites.
You're like my bagpipes. How could we go wrong?
You look like you're about to die. I can give you your last rites.
I can give you 2 coins and send you on your way. Okay, so as you see, the map has changed. So you guys were given really good directions, and if you go to the very bottom of the map, that's where you'll see you guys. You were given really good directions on where you needed to go to where the guys were attacked, so you could possibly pick up the trail. So while you guys are out and about, and what was that sleight of hand with the natural 1?
I bumped the touchpad on my keyboard.
Oh, okay, I'll accept that. Other than trying to steal from the little old lady and getting cursed for it.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
All of a sudden you find out, yes,
the sleight of
she is a
hand roll.
witch.
The sleight of hand roll was appropriate because it was an oops.
You try to steal from her, and instead you grab her hiney. Awkwardness ensues.
Kind of like what was it? Thog the.
You gently caress his cheek.
Yeah. A few failures later, you're explaining to your parents. Hold on, I gotta talk to my munchkin. I'll be back in a minute.
Sounds like we're being attacked with an air raid.
Okay. I had leftover hungry pasture.
And then there's that secret moment when he's left the mic open.
Not gonna make it. It's not gonna make it for 2 weeks. Sorry. I love you too, sweetie. Going to bed? Love you.
Aww. Can we get a group? Aww.
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 Love you. Bye. Okie dokie, what'd I miss?
While you were gone, we gave you a group aw because you were so sweet.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to put up with her. I'm told I produced her. Considering she was conceived like a week before I went to Afghanistan, I got to take her word for it.
Okay, so you guys have the plan. You're in the general vicinity. Since it has to be electronically mapped out, conveniently, you're in the general vicinity here where you are. I mean, by all means, you guys can move yourselves around however you'd like, because I just assume you'd walk wide open like this.
Okay, who's playing Tron?
Not I.
Somebody's getting a booty call.
It was just my ringtone.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to anonymously ring all of you on your phones to see whose ringtone it was.
Yeah, that's definitely not mine.
So we're going to have to... Well, I can do nature to see any signs of the thing, but I can't survival for save my life.
Yeah, again, I got a 2.
I mean, on the plus side, right here in front of you guys, there's a beautiful path of the wounded people who left, like, dried blood and all this nastiness on the ground.
Oh, well, I got a 15 on survival for tracking.
Oh, I just...
Much better than mine.
Did someone delete themselves?
I did accidentally delete myself.
Oopsie doodles.
Where? Oh, all right.
So that means I need to make a placeholder for your character that's something horrible, like a goblin face or something, and that will be your token of shame for the rest of the game.
It will. It will remind me to never do that again.
Is it even possible?
Saved me. Okay,
I just went to another page and copy pasted. Okay, so our cleric, she's like, I don't see any seaweed I recognize up here. There's no kelp or sea anemones to help with the tracking.
Yep.
What's in this bush?
That is a tree. As our Mukau is getting lost in the tree.
Okay. I will follow the trail of blood and gore.
Okay, so obviously you're seeing the, as I get a little pencil here, might as well freehand some stuff.
Blood splatters.
Oh no.
Because between our barbarian 17 and our monks 15, they can clearly see that there's a trail here.
So I may have beaten us to trying to kill this death dog.
And immediately that's when the monk flies way ahead of everybody. And you guys see a lot of different sign right here. It's kind of confusing, and that's what's kind of making the monk kind of stop right there. He's just like, what is this thing going on here? And conveniently, you just see marred footprints in all different directions, and you can't make out exactly what. Exactly what's what.
What's this?
Give me a perception roll.
What's this? What's this?
There's blood everywhere.
What's this? What's this? I hope it's not an ambush there.
It looks like over here is a collection, as I blood splatter it. Over here is looks like a collection of rocks and there's a bit of a cave that easily a human-sized person could walk through there.
Is there any blood over there?
No.
There is not. The blood trail kind of peters off this direction.
Peters off, like disappears, or?
Goes off to where the attack happened, which is basically just at the edge of the map.
Okay, that's something to check out later, though.
So you're just kind of walking towards the cave?
The dog does like hiding in the dark.
I did walk towards the cave a little bit to get a better look.
Okay.
It's like something jumping out at me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, wow, apparently our bard wants to check the acoustics of the cave.
Oh!
She has wide tracts of land.
That's what bards do. So immediately,
I want to sing.
So immediately, as your bard goes up there and she's singing a little ditty under her tongue, because that's just what Tevro does. She just sings and has a good time. All of a sudden, she looks at the cave entrance. Her monk friend is looking at the cave entrance, and she's just like, "Hey, Trine, what's the cave?" And all of a sudden, she looks off to her right. And the second that she does, no shit, there she did. She just kind of walked right up on it, and all of a sudden she sees a head just kind of like lift itself up and just look at you and growl. This black mastiff looking dog with red eyes, and then all of a sudden you see a second mouth kind of lift up. And you kind of realize that in the bushes here, that there's a couple bodies that have been dragged off into the bushes and are in various levels of being devoured.
Oh no!
And yeah, I mean, I couldn't have laid that ambush out any better if I wanted to.
I walked right into it.
On the plus side, it's a good time to probably roll initiative there.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
I just love that. I just like, here's the map and go ahead, walk up in the ambush. Good job. I love you guys.
Oh snap!
Yeah, mine didn't.
Ooh, our cleric's in a hurry.
Where do I?
Awesome, because I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
Okay, mine didn't track it.
Make sure you're selecting your token on the map. So you have to
Oh.
highlight your token, and then it should work. Funny enough, I did the exact same thing myself.
There we go.
Wow, it's because you're wanting the good roll.
19. It's not a natural 20 like Andy over there.
Like somebody showing off.
Yeah.
So thankfully, by a hair's breadth of our Minotaur here, she kind of like gives you guys just enough warning before it comes flashing out of the trees. Mainly because it was probably just cowering and eating while you guys were tramping through the forest. And because you came up as a big group, it was like, I'm just going to hide here. And how exactly does our bard warn the group that there's a death dog in the bushes?
Probably screaming like a little girl.
Yeah.
Maybe with the bagpipes.
One long sour sea.
Exactly. It's a flat sea.
So unfortunately for everyone but her, you know it's in the bushes. You don't see it, so you do have disadvantage to any range attacks. But it clearly knows you're all there, and you know it's in the bush. The growl that just resonates from its two heads sounds deeper than the deepest D note that she could do on her bagpipes.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at a spell.
That's what every caster says. I was just looking at that spell and then it got into my book. So, what is our monk going to do first? I'm kind of
the
scared.
natural 20 doesn't go first?
No, you got a higher.
You got a 22.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not a natural 20.
Well,
I just didn't know how that worked. Let's see. I gotta. I'll just do the one step closer and take the swing with my chain.
Oh, you're using the reach so that way you don't have to touch it.
Yes.
Okay, that's
I mean,
totally
even
sensible.
though I'm immune to necrotic stuff, but still, I'm not stupid. And there we go. Of course.
And you make this sad sound as you swing your chain out kind of lazily. And since you are not adjacent to it, you do roll at disadvantage, so it's the lower of the two rolls.
Yep.
But a 12 will hit.
I think so. Oh, I forget I have a high armor class for this edition.
So you're nailing it for 9 points of damage.
That would knock my ass out.
Yeah, that you kind of scratch one of its maws on the left-hand side face, and you kind of smack some of the brashes. And as soon as you clearly see it, you realize that you are not the only Nyxborn creature out here right now. This death dog is not just a death dog. It seems to be a Nyxborn death dog. So you see the shadowy parts glistening with stars and nebula, and you realize without a shadow of a doubt that this is a magical creature. As you see its little claw tips kind of sparkle as they rub into the dirt. You realize you don't want to be bit by this thing. So you do still have some movement left. Now in 5th edition, you can break up your movement so you can move, attack, and complete your movement. I know since you're not used to 5th, that's one of the reminders that is always really useful. So if you want to retreat, you are outside of its reach to attack you back. So as I double check to make sure it doesn't have reach attack.
I'll just move over here to let room for somebody else.
Oh, that's nice. You just swing, and slash with your chain, and then you immediately pull back because you're like, oh dear.
Well, yeah, considering how much damage I just did to it, and it just scratched it.
And it just kind of like laughed it off of like,
I'm standing under. Thank you.
yeah, you hit it in its nose.
Boop.
There's nothing worse than boop.
Boop.
So it is our cleric's turn. What is our Triton gonna do?
So
Okay, so if I want to cast a spell and it does damage, I just roll the dice, or do I need to like click on the spell?
Well, you can click on the spell and it'll show everybody what the spell is if you like. And then on your weapon section, you would click the spell on that and it'll roll the dice for you.
Okay.
Now remember, if you're doing a range attack, it is in the bush. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Now that's one that goes 15 feet around you. That's going to hit
Around me or forward? I thought it said go.
It's a cube.
15-foot cube.
And I do like how you poised yourself to hit everyone in the group, including the bad guy.
No, I was going here when you started talking.
That's an evocation.
That's still half.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was forward. That's my fault.
You know what?
15 feet. I like this.
If you're surrounded, that's a kick-ass spell. As long as you're not surrounded by your party.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
2d8, damn.
Yeah. All right, fine.
And you push it away.
Yeah, it's a great spell.
Yeah, that was my intention, was to get it away from us. But
it's the total back off Jack spell.
Here, I'm gonna zap your ass and throw you.
All right, so I guess in that case, because I don't want, I was thinking it was more like a cone. That's totally my fault, but
it's okay. It's a new character. It's only your second session.
Kind of.
It's more of it's whatever. Anyway.
And it's late.
and this is why I don't like being a spellcaster.
So I'll just do that instead. Sacred Flame.
Okay, so you cast Sacred Flame, and
from where I am too, because it's within 60 feet.
And this cool blue aqua light comes. That looks almost like the shimmer of underwater light comes cascading down, and let's see what happens. Ooh, I totally think I made my save.
I don't know why it did that. Sorry.
It's okay. Made double
taps.
Oh,
that's the Thunderwave thing. My bad.
Oh, you're putting it away and you cast it by accident?
Yeah.
I hate when my spell goes off accidentally. So it rolls a 7.
I hate it when my Schwartz gets tangled.
Ooh. So obviously in these bushes, your Sacred Flame was quite effective when it went off inside there. And I'm even going to look for, do I have bubbling and frost? Do you guys see that? Cool. Particle effects, which are kind of laggy on my screen, so I don't know how good they're coming across on your screen. So you are nailing him for the 6 points of damage.
Nice. Take that, you demon dog.
Death dog.
I know.
Demon dog, death dog. Hey, it's the first time she's seen a 2-headed dog.
Dog of the underworld.
You want to see a 2-headed shark? She's seen those before. Those are common. Okay, so it is now our bard's turn. You're right there in the dog's face. I mean...
Yeah, they're close. It's time for puppies to take a nap.
You know it's going to chew the crap out of you any second now. Like, in fact, in about maybe half a second after you get your turn and your buddy over there gets his turn. He's going to have cow for dinner. Sacred bowl.
How do I make the spell show up over there?
So if you click the spell's name in your spell book.
Yeah.
The little chat bubble.
It could be a little... There's a little bit of lag coming through, so that could be causing it too. Okay. So the sleep spell.
Puppies are going to take a nap.
You hope. So go ahead and roll your 5d8 and let's see what you get for that.
The spell is at least always educational.
So creatures within
duration
20 feet
1 minute
of a point you choose. Now I'm assuming you're choosing like 15 feet over here at the edge of the map, so it's not including your party.
Yes, it says I have a point that I choose, so I was gonna.
You're gonna make sure it's on the edge of that zone, so your party doesn't all fall asleep before it does.
I can't.
Yeah, I'm
These
immune to
5 foot
sleep magic,
squares?
so.
What's that?
Are these 5 foot squares?
These are 5 foot squares, yeah. So if you
Okay.
basically pick like right
Yeah,
here,
put it over here somewhere.
that
yeah.
means the edge is right there in front of you, so that way you don't have to worry about it.
Right. Okay, so
So the thing is, you now need to cast sleep high enough to put it down. And you rolled 24. Now, I would like to say it's total coincidence, but if it wasn't for your friend's sacred flame, this would not have hit. But currently it has exactly 24 hit points. So thankfully it's eaten all the squirrels and the birds and all the little animals that the spell would have put to sleep. And all of a sudden you're looking at it as you're doing this sweet lullaby song as you cast sleep. And you're pumping all your magic into the spell to make sure it works. And all of a sudden one doggy eye looks at you and kind of and then the other doggy eye kind of growls and snaps at it, but it kind of like lazily yawns, and it just kind of like flops to the ground, puts one paw on top of the other, and both heads kind of fight for the sweet spot of the paws. And
can't
you
imagine what this thing snoring sounds like.
and all of a sudden you just hear this combination of snore and like puppy fart when they go to sleep. You hear that little
Oh, that's rank.
I mean, he's been eating peasants this whole
Right.
night, so he's a
High
little
protein diet.
And you just see these cute, whimpery dream paws going in the back feet there. So, yeah, your sleep spell worked like a charm, thanks to your team's teamwork.
Somebody slit its throats.
Coup de grace, baby.
So, are you going to stay there? Are you going to back up?
I think I might maybe just hang out on the edge of the trees from here.
So, did we actually ask them how many there were?
Nope.
Awesome.
I mean, technically, they told you it was a one-headed dog, and obviously you now know for sure your thoughts that it was a death dog was 100% correct. That, yes, this is a death dog. This is totally not just, some crazy dog. It is a magical beast with 2 heads that has venomous bites and horrible red glowing eyes. And my God, I want to put it on a chain and keep it in my backyard.
Certainly seems entirely possible that there might be a second one somewhere. So
that's totally a thing that could be possible.
So, does the barbarian want to kill this thing for us?
I kind of do. I really kind of do.
Because I think you get auto crit on the sleeping dog.
Yeah.
As long as I don't miss it. And then sink away in
If you
shame.
miss the napping puppy laying on the ground in front of you, then you're fired.
Just don't slip and cut yourself is the trick. So the barbarian Leon is just walking up, lifts his weapon in the air, and just brings it down to this massive executioner-style shot. And you don't even need to roll dice. One of the heads goes flopping off. And immediately the second head, starts to wake up as the axe finishes the cut. And both heads go flicking to the ground.
Ew.
And then it's the poor death dog's turn. He should have totally eaten all of you. So what does our barbarian do now that he's Excuse me.
Bless you.
Aha! I hit the mute button in time.
No, you didn't.
Totally, 100% in time.
The second sneeze, not the first one. So that sneeze sound with the blood shooting out of the stumps of its head all over the barbarian, coating it in magical, glowy, Nyxborn blood.
I kind of want to pet the dead puppy because I feel bad. I didn't want to kill a little dog. It didn't even have a chance.
What, you
But,
don't want to
no.
make shoulder pads out of the heads?
I don't think they'd fit. I mean, I got gigantic, pretty big.
That's what they all say.
That's what all the Leonins say. Just look under my kilt, I can prove it.
I think
Okay.
you could totally use their skulls for pauldrons.
So you have clearly executed it. You know, there's this calm that overcomes the area.
Oh,
Almost
what if we turned them into boots?
too
Then they'd be
calm.
puppy kickers. Sorry.
Oh no!
Wah, wah. Turns
I mean,
the
I
heads
may
into
not
big
wear
old
like a
fluffy
shirt,
slippers.
but I have standards.
Maybe you should take it back into
You're
town.
getting a little sentimental here. Remember, no one mourns the wicked.
And it you know, the mouth smells horrible on these things, but you know, the fur is interesting because being a Nyxborn, it's got that cool, it's fur, but it's got that cool sparkly look that's very reminiscent to your monk there, who is walking immediately into the cave.
No, I'm just peeking into the cave.
Why don't you give me a perception check?
Doo-doo-doo. And
So you immediately go in there, and with your keen eyes that are adapted to the night sky, literally, you peer into this entrance, and you realize that this is the beast's lair, and it hasn't been lairing here long. I mean, it looks fairly recent that it's here. But at the inside of the cave, you see what seems to be a man-made little mound of things. Could be an altar, could be a spell. Can't quite sure when you're here. You're gonna have to get closer inside, about 10-15 feet to actually inspect it. But it looks like no animal would put things and stack things like they did.
this is not how you stack pizza boxes.
And of course,
Right.
the place is littered with animal bones. It looks like every goat within
Ooh, a
2
squirrel.
miles has been eaten and devoured in here.
Not
Hey,
me.
Oh, gross.
There's something in the cave.
All right, let me take a
I'm
look.
just gonna go inside.
Something.
Okay.
That was specific.
So as you go in the cave, is anyone going to do anything? Survival, perception, who
I did
knows
the
what?
perception.
Check the pile of bodies that are in this bush. By the way, there's like 6 bodies out there.
I'll
Well,
go
you know,
look.
we got to come back out eventually. So they're dead. They're not going anywhere.
Okay, so the 2 of you that are going in there, as our cleric is doing survival roll and like checking it out. By the way, our cleric is fairly certain there's only one of these beasts' trails here. It may have 2 heads, but it only has 4 paws.
For now.
Dun 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 dun. And as you guys, kind of all go creeping in slowly into the cave, you realize when you're walking past, and you kind of push the bits of clothing and the bits of animal hide that are left in the remains there, that this thing has no problem eating carrion, because a lot of the rotted bones you can see, the meat was rotted before it was eaten off the bone. But when you get to the very inside of the cave, you see that the back wall has been scorched by fire, most likely torches or like a small fire was put there. And there seems to be some kind of, when you get close enough, you realize for sure it's some kind of altar or prayer altar, like a lot of folks would set up in their house to the gods.
Using my religion skill, can I see which god it's for?
You can definitely try. Okay, so solid 13. You immediately recognize the mark that's been smeared on the wall. It looks like in blood, and the place has been sanctified. You are 100% sure that this is the god of slaughter. Somebody set up an altar to the god of slaughter and death, and basically maintained this altar for at least 2 or 3 days. from the look of the tallow candles melted down to clumps, and the fact that there's candles that have been burnt on different days, so they had that different level of gummed up dirt and dust on the wax. So
Do you say that? Do you say?
I will relay this to everybody.
Ugh, and I kick it over.
Okay, you go up there, and
Psycho summoned these things here.
you pretty much think that someone set an altar and prayed to him to bring one of his beasts and drop it off here. That's pretty much the gist of what you're getting, that someone probably did. That they made an altar and they prayed the pray, and they kept praying the pray until maybe the hunger showed up. As if some dark god plucked it from the night sky and deposited it there.
Trying to
Guess
decide if
our
it's better
work is
which
not
roll.
done yet.
And as our Triton kicks the altar, because it was just kind of hastily set up with stones, to be a flat altar-ish platform, you kind of kick that rock, and the altar falls over, and you see it kind of like loosens a few more rocks that spill over, and you see the glint of a gold coin partially showed that must have fallen off the altar.
Hmm.
An old coin?
Can we take a closer look at it?
Yeah, you can pick it up if you want.
I don't want to touch it.
I'll pick it up.
Okay.
It was on that stinky altar. Yuck.
It was on that stinky altar. So immediately, you kind of point out the glint of the coin as you guys do this collective. Huh. And all of a sudden, the monk just like quicker than nothing just snatches the coin out of the dirt and dusts it off and looks at it, and it looks very familiar. It almost looks like the coins that our satyr friend paid to the old lady that were minted for the god Kuranos, the god of storms. It almost looks, in fact, exactly like one of those, except for the fact that somebody spilled some blood on it and it's been sitting behind a stinky altar.
So, can I think about some religious acts and figure out why somebody would do that?
What would do what? What exactly?
What is the purpose of having this kind of coin that's dedicated to a different god, smeared in blood and put behind the altar? What is the significance of that?
Give me an investigate roll.
Yeah.
I'm not smart.
As you're just like, this makes no sense that this coin is there. Do you tell the group that?
Unless you give me advantage for,
No, I totally like this too. It's perfect. Because you're just like, this makes no sense.
Well, that's a great one. Oh, there we go.
I was going to say, yeah, I was seeing blank for a while there. I think Roll20's getting busy again.
Yeah.
Okay, so immediately Miki, our bard, comes looking at it, and she's like, gold coin. And she makes that quizzical face, that when Minotaurs make when they're trying to figure out something. It's only Minotaurs make that face, so that's why it's very distinct. And
yes, it's
the confused cow look.
It's the face that my neighbors would make when I threw vegetables at them.
Miki is pretty sure that coin was not part of the altar, but may have fallen over it. Like maybe it just accidentally fell off the altar. And it was only because our cleric kicked the altar over that the coin revealed itself. It was basically, it kind of fell behind the bookshelf kind of thing, is what Miki's thinking.
I would have no idea why somebody would smear blood on something, because, I'm used to blood just floating around in the water. It doesn't really work where I'm from.
It just summons the cousin sharks.
Mm-hmm.
So Miki is fairly certain that the coin was just accidentally dropped. It was not intentionally placed there as part of a ritual. Almost as if it might be a clue to who set up the altar.
But why would she set up the altar, summon the beast, and then come and warn us about it?
to go look for it and get killed?
Or because she was hoping that we would not involve ourselves when I was persuasive. Because as another oracle, getting me killed would be bad for her god in some way. I don't know.
Well, that and what's the best prophecy than a self-fulfilling prophecy you set in motion?
Yep.
You tree feet make no sense to me.
She
Okay.
Cleo'd you.
I'm going to look around for anything that might be useful in this mess.
Okay, so you
The
guys...
massacre in this village was some sort of trap to lure us out? What problem would she have with us?
Well, we are adventurers, and I guess the god of slaughter doesn't like that we might interfere.
Or maybe he just wanted somebody to kill.
That's possible.
And remember,
Sacrifices.
she was fairly, non-discreet in her idea of you guys need to stay here and not go out in the woods. You guys need to stay in town and drink for a week and not do anything heroic.
Because how big would the thing be in a week? I mean, we nailed it twice and we barely heard it. I mean,
It was only because you murdered it in its sleep. Did it really count as victory?
Yes.
Yeah. We managed to get through 24 of its hit points without it having any chance against us.
So, it only...
That's why it's such a useful spell.
Yeah,
Yes, it's a great spell. I mean, even when it doesn't work, it's like, I rolled a 30. Oh, that doesn't put it to sleep. Well, fuck, now I know something.
Now we need to run.
Now we need to run.
I mean, let's just look at it this way. We're first level characters, and this thing had 39 hit points.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we cheated.
No,
Fight was
I
horrible.
think James has it out for us already.
Oh, what's coming? What's coming?
So those of you that are poking around in the bushes at the dead bodies. So
Yep.
conveniently you find in assorted piles, and this is saying if you pick through the corpses. Are you willing
was
to pick
looking
through the corpses for coin?
Oh, hell yes. I'll roll a corpse. Yeah, take it with them.
So not counting the gold coin that you guys found on the altar, amongst the corpses dragged off to be, putrefied, you find 24 silver pieces and 9 gold pieces.
Wow.
And you do find, because most of the weapons are smashed and bitten and destroyed, but you do find 4 javelins that are still in decent shape. Because, of course, these were guys out hunting. So you have hunting weapons. So 4 javelins if anyone wants it.
What would I do with the chat?
I'll take one.
Hey,
Are
what
you
was the...
javelins worth anything?
Not really.
They're worth stabbing something.
Throwing.
I'll stick with my
I mean,
sword.
if anyone has a strength-based character, that would work. I'll take one anyways, just because throwing things is fun.
Yeah, what god was the coin for?
The God of Storms. It's Keravnos. Keranos. The God of Storms.
Karen.
Also good on, he's really known for prophecies too. Like the big, think of Oracle of Delphi, is actually one of his kids. On a mountain that's covered in storms constantly.
So, a doped up virgin that's taken advantage of by creepy guys. Got it.
Well, in this case, she's the one that's in charge, so she got rid of the creepy guys. But still, you have to climb this mountain who's got thunderstorms. So it's just like in 300 when he's climbing in the storm and the rain. It's perpetually stormy and raining this mountain. Nobody knows why. What it really is he grounded his daughter.
Great.
Apparently, Keranos is a basketball team in Cyprus.
So is there anything else in this cave that might be of value or
I mean, not unless you're looking for putrefied bones or anything. The altar pretty much it was all hastily erected. It looks like the holy symbol that's on it was kind of Wicker Man style, made out of twigs, so that way it's disposable.
Wow.
I mean, you could totally get a candle off the altar that's still usable,
No. Okay. So no.
but it's probably consecrated to the god of slaughter. Do you want some special slaughter flavored candles? Everyone
No.
does. This
So
is
how many bodies are here?
So there's 6 human bodies. And of course, you cannot identify a single one of these corpses because they're like their face is munched off. There's no distinguishing features on the corpses.
Well,
But
we can let the villagers know where they are, and if they want to come and retrieve their dead, try and identify them, they can.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out if I got to do the stupid coin thing now.
Did we find out if the healer wanted any parts of these dogs or not?
She did not seem to be interested in this rotten demon dog at all. And that was a good point from our monk. Would you like to curry favor from your god?
Yeah, it says during providing coins and overseeing burial rites. So,
Yep.
and I would say they were slain during a tragedy.
Is there anything the Redeemer is going to do?
Let's see. Let's say what type of coin?
Generally, the book does say gold coin, but I will give that you can do silver coins because that's ridiculously expensive for a funeral.
Yeah. It doesn't say, at least not in the piety part. It just says providing coins.
And by the way, on your character sheet, underneath your personal traits, your ideals, your bonds and flaws, I did add a box there for piety for you if you would like to do something to garner your god's favor.
Yep.
Okay, so you
Okay,
basically...
who has the silver coins?
Let's say we made change at some point.
No,
Well,
there's 24 silver pieces.
You found coins in the pile of bodies.
Yes.
All right.
He would like 12 of them,
Oh
basically.
God, are we robbing the dead and putting the coins on their? Anyways, never mind.
Well, it's technically not robbing them if we're putting the coins on them.
And it's sorted coins you found in the ground because they ripped up their coin purses in the eating process. So the question is, are you going to bury the dead or burn the dead?
I didn't say
Burning
anything
would
about
probably
that.
be easier. Plus, it's a forest. You could set the whole forest on fire. Wait. Different character.
Magic bonfire.
Is it possible for me to bless water and make it holy water, or is that something I have to use as an ability?
There's actually a spell for doing that.
All right.
Yeah, it would be lovely to deconsecrate this cave.
Yeah, I would really like to do that.
You could totally just start a fire in it. Fire always works. Almost every religious practice lets fire be used for deconsecration.
I'll burn the body. Well, yeah, I'll burn the bodies.
Should we also burn the stuff in the cave?
Fuck yes.
Yes. Separately.
All right.
Yes, that too.
Hooray! Lots of fire.
Okay, so we lost 12 silver pieces.
That's fine. I
As
respect
he
your
said,
gods.
yes. Gold coins, I mean, I'd be broke in no time. I mean, hell, 12 right now, I mean, that's almost everything I have. So I need to get change.
It's like, nope.
Well, don't look at me. I gave 21 silver pieces to a witch because I didn't know what chicken cost.
Hey, supply and demand. Did you have a chicken? No. Did you need a chicken? No. Yes. A fool and his coin is soon parted. That was possibly
the most in-character thing I did last night. Was my character's like, "What does a chicken cost? I don't know. Here's a bag of silver pieces."
So I did just post in there, by the way, for a cleric holy water. If she's interested in making holy water, it's not the cheapest thing to make, but yes, it's totally there. Because I
Okay.
like the fact that a cleric wants to make holy water. Especially since she's a cleric of, water god.
Yeah.
Well, she's a cleric. All she has to do is like piss in a vial or something, right?
No. It's got to be specially set up water in advance. The mere
Seeing as
fact...
how... Sorry, go ahead.
The fact that it uses 25 gold worth of powdered silver and whatever religious stuff you got to add to that.
Yikes.
Yeah, you probably cast a bless spell on it or something.
Well, you
25
basically do an hour-long ritual and you burn a first level spell slot.
Ah.
And spend 250 silver pieces. That's a lot of silver.
Why do you think the church is always asking for more?
Okay, I'll do the last rites for these guys.
Okay, so you guys basically
Alright.
spend the rest of the afternoon cutting, burnables and collecting them. You scourge the cave with fire, destroying the altar.
I mean, after all, the beast is dead. Therefore, both the beast and the altar have outlived their usefulness, and you should destroy all things that have outlived their usefulness.
Ooh.
This is my God's word.
Can I look for the herbs that we were gonna give the witch just because?
Sure, go ahead and give me a survival roll with advantage, because thankfully you have samples to compare
Oh,
this
God.
leaf to this leaf.
I would
wish I could
also
use
like
nature
to do
instead
that.
of.
You're going
I
to
wish-
double check his work.
No, I'll investigate a different area.
Okay.
Alright, I wish I could use nature instead of survival, but I'll use survival.
Okay, I'll let you use nature. I'm good with that.
Oh yeah, let's use nature. Because that's something I have some skill at.
Okay.
21!
That totally works with nature. Normally folks are all like using survival and not using nature. I'm preferring that. So immediately you guys, once you're out gathering wood to make the pyre, because you got to get it big enough and hot enough, and you guys are also keeping your eye out for the herbs, and you're picking the herbs. And since you both had really good rolls, apparently the 21 was obviously better than the 18 because that dice came up better. It's our monk is giving last rites to these people in the proper fashion to help the ferryman carry them away, earning himself 1 piety. Just saying.
Woohoo!
And the
Yay.
fact that as our bard is destroying the altar, and you can practically hear a hammer ringing on an anvil when she's destroying the thing. I assume that's where you were going with that, right?
It is.
Also earning her 1 piety.
Someone has some anger management issues.
God of creation,
managing
God of
quite well.
destruction. They can be both. You totally got to destroy nature to create tools, right?
Yep.
So make sure on your character sheets you've marked piety, which I think you have it already, but
Where
if
did
not.
it go?
So it's going to be underneath, where you have your bardic inspiration?
Yes.
I'm making it for you right now. You see where it says piety? On the right-hand side of your character sheet?
Oh, no, I see it. Yep.
Go ahead and type a 1 in piety. Because when you hit 3 is when you get your cool magic thing.
Yep.
That your gods want you to do cool, big damn heroic magic things. Okay? So this is also a hint for the rest of you if you think you can find something to milk your god's attention.
I told all sorts of people about Clothis yesterday, or last time.
But
Even when it was not a good idea.
does that embrace your god's virtues?
Teaching people about Clothis, her nature, and her return is one of my things.
Why, yes, it does. So feel free to give yourself a piety. See, it's like
Piety for
inspiration,
piety,
but almost like crack.
So is defeating a creature that has stepped out of its place. Though I'm not sure I really took a part in defeating.
Sadly, you stood back and watched all of your friends do it.
Yep.
You're just like, after the death dog's dying death rattle, you just went, huh, okay, let's look for stuff.
Yep.
And since you're already earning one, I don't feel bad saying, no piety for you.
No piety for you.
And of course, our Leonin doesn't believe that he needs the gods' favor and doesn't beg, scrape, or borrow for their attention.
100% no need.
Okay, so the combat went ridiculously fast. So you pretty much have collected the idea that this thing was summoned. It massacred a bunch of people out on a nightly hunt and a couple more during the day, and ate a bunch of goats. Somebody was here a couple days to get it brought into the world here, so it was intentionally summoned. And very similar coin, like 100% similar, to the coin that our Satyr Warlock Oracle was paid off to not get involved with anything.
Sorry. Still amused I gave that to the witch.
I mean, if there's a 0.5% of doubt, you can always go to the witch and ask to compare coins.
Yep. No, yeah.
And you guys have collected a decent amount of herbs, because that was my little dice roll there, that you basically collected enough for 7 doses of the stuff. Not that big damn heroes such as yourself need it, because, you killed the demon dog before it could even react.
Yeah, but isn't it like a general
No,
cure, so
Spike
it would
Chain.
work on other things?
It can be used for anything that causes disease or poison.
All we need now is her alchemy kit.
Are you guys okay with giving the old woman half, and then we can keep half, and I'll make it myself?
That could be good.
Works for me.
Okay, so you're gonna give her the 3, and you're gonna keep the 4.
Yeah.
Maybe we can figure out a way to give her some herbs in exchange for taking some money off the alchemy kit.
Well, sadly, the price in the alchemy kit there, that's what they go for. I mean, she's going to charge you what it costs to replace it. Unless you want to buy one, that's missing some uses. Sure, she might sell you her knockoff kit.
Well, I was just thinking that maybe we could work out a barter for herbs for kit.
But didn't you promise to bring her herbs?
We did, but that was in case I don't know. That was in case we needed the herbs.
So since you didn't get bits, you don't need the herbs any longer, is what you're saying.
Yeah. We don't need any doses of the medication, so we're okay. But we could also just give her the herbs out of the goodness of our heart. And I can give her a nice lecture about how Gathos loves her.
Survival of the fittest?
We can give her.
Don't mind me, I'm just posting random pictures showing the god of slaughter fighting his centaur brother. Don't ask about the genealogy. Obviously, Dad must be a half-elf.
Alright. So, should we go back to town now that we set stuff on fire?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so you guys basically, did you burn the corpse? I mean...
Well, I burned the men. I don't know what they did with the doggy.
Yeah, we burned the cave.
I mean, if somebody wants to try to make armor out of the hide of the thing.
And you could always burn the beast in the name of your god as a sacrifice. We killed it for you.
That's not something I do.
I'm keeping one of their claws, though.
Okay, so you just chop one of the claws off.
Yep.
I don't think that's something that Kethos would be really into, is just burning dogs for her.
Well,
They've outlived their usefulness. It's a cycle of creation and destruction.
think of it this way: of like, in the old Greek traditions, like when you sacrifice the cows, you then burn them to the gods. You could possibly curry favor by doing that.
That's true.
I wonder what dog tastes like.
Ew.
Death dog from the stars. Ew.
Ashes.
Star ash.
Well, I guess if no one else is doing it, I'll toss it on the fire and say, hey, the universe is in better order now. This thing is not causing problems anymore. It's one for our team.
That's literally his sacred word of, that's one for our team. He was fated to end up in this pyre. Okay,
No
so
more.
as you throw the corpse under the flames and it gets consumed and the smoke looks like star speckles that go back up into the sky and then up in the nicks in the sky, because even during the day you can see the constellations. You kind of see the stars kind of twinkle back in their place in the sky, where the night hound is taking its place back in the heavens, because that's how this Nick stuff works.
I hope it doesn't wink down at me, because that would be disconcerting.
What's more disconcerting than two heads winking in unison?
Ah, boy. I hope that's winks and not just like a middle blink of some sort.
We'll get you next time.
Yep.
Next time we're gonna sneak up on you. So you guys headed back to town. You've got your herbs. Do you stop off at the old lady's house first?
Sure.
Okay. She gladly accepts the couple handfuls of herbs that you put on her counter there, and she's like, free labor.
Thank you so much for teaching us about herbs. In exchange for these herbs.
And she just comes up and kind of like tugs on your chin, because you're a goat. She wouldn't pinch your cheek. She'd tug on your chin. In that way that almost that all centaur children get their cheeks, pinched. Instead, they get the chin pulled.
Oh, I'll be writing a song about that later.
Oh boy.
And she basically gives you this little winky face of the, I'll let you off on the swapping of the spit. And she gives you this big,
that could have been a lot of fun, I'm sure.
half her teeth missing smile.
Oh well. Sometimes it's best when it's gummy.
Oh, goodness.
I'm sorry.
Ew.
Oh.
Even the
I've had a
Oracle
lot of
couldn't see how
adventures.
bad that joke was going to be.
I've had so many adventures.
Oh.
Ew.
I'm sorry, I'm an older goat. Made some choices.
Bad choices. Bad choices.
Bad. I
Oh,
tried to make
gosh.
better choices.
That woman probably eats goats.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Actually, goat isn't too bad.
Goat's delicious. I love a good goat curry.
Ugh.
Everything's good with curry.
There's a Jamaican food truck in town that has goat on Fridays.
Yeah, we had a guy from Jamaica in my unit, and he's like, "Here, try this. Yeah, this isn't half bad. What is it? Goat curry." I managed to keep it in.
I don't know. Goat is nice. Anyways.
Okay, so you guys get back to the tavern. I'm assuming you tell folks about the bodies, right?
Yeah.
And a couple women start immediately wailing because they realize, my husband or my son didn't come back last night. And, I mean, you guys, give them the nice, hey, we burned the bodies, we sent them to the gods, right?
Yep.
See,
You didn't want to see the mess that I can. That was left. Wait, this isn't comforting.
Way to make the widow wail even louder when you're talking about the piles of parts. Oh, my baby! It killed my baby!
Well, let me tell you a thing or two about fate. And about how... Wait. Is this a comforting set of words? I don't know. Let's try this out.
I worry he's attempting to woo the widows.
I'm not. I'm trying to earn piety by telling them about Kethos. I'm saying that wrong again. Office.
Hey, this is why you're a warlock and not a priest.
Well, yes, but I earn piety by doing this. And that helps my ocular visions.
So when you guys are in town, what are you doing? Besides looking around for your paladin who never showed up in town.
Or drinking.
Okay, so you go back to the wine house and say, hey, we killed a big
Need to
damn
be
scared.
rewarded for our feats.
And they're like, okay, here's the 3-day-old wine. It's the wine that's going to go sour in about 2 days.
So did anyone see which way those people in the wagons went? Because that seems like it might be important.
Who are you asking?
I don't know. I guess I'm just sort of... Since we're already in the tavern, that seems like it might be a good place to start asking people.
Okay, so you're like, hey, that caravan yesterday, did you see where they went? And of course, you know, you get the usual talk of like the local washerwomen that are over at the washing area were just like, hey, those people in the wagon. And they're like, nope, we didn't see jack. We saw some people drive by in chariots throwing dust up, and they got dirt on our drying clothes.
What jerks.
Then all of a sudden you get the fruit merchant who's always out there selling his apricots and things, and he's just like, huh, so there was a caravan? Why didn't I see them to sell my goods to? As he rolled a 1, and he's like, nope. And you're really thinking he's actually covering something up that he didn't see anything. He's almost saying he didn't see anything too much.
Think thou
So I should
protest
try
too
and work
much.
this guy a little bit.
And then, of course, you know, you've got the town drunk that's usually, he's that 30-ish human guy who's always sitting out there drinking his wine. And, oh, that's a 100. I meant to roll a d20. And he's just like, yeah, I saw them leave town. What's it worth to you?
How about another drink?
And he's like, maybe in 2 drinks we can talk about it.
Well, in 2 drinks... How about the first drink is on me, and if your information is good, we can get a second or maybe more.
Well, I won't be able to tell you until after the second drink to wet my parched mouth.
Well, let me tell you a thing or two. I know that the answers get a little bit messier as the more drinks that the person gets, so...
Spoken like a satyr. So it sounds like you're going for like charm, negotiation, persuasion kind of thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, and if you're willing to pour him the first drink, I'll give you advantage.
I'm willing to pour him the first drink, and I will definitely go for persuasion.
Because
Hey!
there's
That's
obviously
1 minute 20.
the goddess of fate roll there for you of a 1
That was
or
a
a 20.
performance. That was performance, not a persuasion.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So immediately
Even though technically they should be the same unless you put a skill in one, but
No, they actually are the same.
So immediately our warlock starts to perform and acts horribly. So go ahead and roll.
Persuasion?
Yep.
Alright.
That's
20.
just how your goddess jacks with you, see? So you pour him the first drink as you're just putting on the satyr charm. And you're just like, hey, listen, you know, you could tell me after the first drink and we can drink the rest of the night. Just saying. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you. You do realize who she now are you talking to him discreetly, or are you having him talk around the rest of the group as he looks back and forth, for a moment there?
I'm willing to talk discreetly with him.
As he's just like, you do know who those people were, don't you?
Oh, I have a inkling who they were, but if you're willing to confirm it for me.
As you tell him that, yes, tell me more. I'm pretty sure that she was wearing the vestments of an oracle of Mogus. Now, a lot of people would have mistaken her toga as one from the human polis, but I think the adornments on her toga were of an oracle of Mogus. I could be wrong. I mean, I was already 2 bottles into my day, but that's just between you and I what I think I saw. But they were taking the main road heading straight east. And
Yes,
I heard her mention something about the temple of the storm god.
Ah, yes. Yes, I think that confirms what I have heard, or what I have suspected.
And he kind of slides his now almost empty cup towards the pitcher.
I definitely get him another drink, I say.
As he smiles and he's like, and was it true she prophesied that death was coming around? I mean, I slept over there with you guys in the corner and no one noticed me. But you know what? When everyone was sleeping, I kind of snuck a goat stomach worth of milk off from behind the counter.
I have a suspicion, and you can do with this information what you want. I have a suspicion that may have been less a prophecy and more of some hard work on her part that caused the death dog in these parts.
That sounds that's not a good thing.
That is not a good thing.
But and all of a sudden he gets really loud. But that's why we have big heroes like you all. And he like lifts his almost spilling a little of his wine, cheering for the heroes. And everybody starts lifting their glasses.
Heroes!
As immediately they start giving you guys the super kudos, and like everybody kind of, as soon as the cheers die down, everyone kind of looks at the big paw sitting on the bar. Just the ominous moment of like, oh man, that was some hairy shit. That was definitely some hairy shit.
Yeah.
Well, keratin doesn't really evolve.
Right.
Thank you.
There we go. The sequestered laughter comes out.
I'm gonna have to pat this guy
should
on
we
the back,
follow
just
them?
like, I know that you are a wise man. People do not always notice the drunks.
I'm not a drunk.
I'm sorry.
He's a boozer.
Why would you think I'm drunk?
My mistake.
Simple. When was the last time you took a bath?
As you know, he looks like he could probably use a bath. I mean, his last bath was when it rained.
All right. Well,
so
make
go
sure
ahead.
that he has drinks as he needs
Go
it,
ahead
but-
and give me a religion roll or a history roll. I'll take either one. When he was just to see what sparked your mind as he talked about the direction and what the guy said, and as your brain's putting stuff together. As you're just like, eh.
Well, maybe I should use my Oracle Insight.
There are lots of things that are to the east. I mean, there's that human huge polis that's out there. You know, there's are you
Does a 12 get me anything better than a 9?
a 12 does not give you any details other than there's the Great Oracle's mountain peak. There's the human polis that's known for its great and powerful king. Basically, think King Agamemnon, but he's got good PR.
Yeah.
Totally not an asshole. Totally doesn't take advantage of his wife because he defeated her father to marry her. None of that stuff. And murdered her first husband. None of that stuff. All the PR is great because he's a great king. Trust me, he pays half the crowd to do it, and he points his knives at the other half of the crowd. Technically, none of you are humans, so you all see the negative part of this xenophobic jerk because he's kind of anti everything not human. And pretty much since all of you are non-human, you've probably heard rumor or two of this, but nothing 100%. He's got like a squad of centaur soldiers that he basically pays really well to do stuff. So, so you know that that there's a few things that direction.
Yeah.
You may just want to talk to your the rest of your team and see if you guys can mash heads together to see what you can come up with.
All right, let's mash heads together, team.
Sounds painful.
Yeah.
I can make it painful.
I have a ram attack. It's not as good as the bard's horn attack. But...
As all of a sudden Miki's like, I've got her ram attack, and she headbutts the table and breaks it.
Shit, now my horn is stuck. Hold on, guys.
Is it me or is there a chair in my head? So you basically pour him another drink and kind of let him go off.
Yeah.
He immediately starts making friends with the washerwomen because, hey, he sits there drinking at the fountain while they're washing their clothes. It's totally a thing. Totally thinking of the Ren Fair washerwomen too. So you guys start, basically hashing it out together. It's like, so immediately Miki, with her amazing bard roll, because bard's in history, and even though she's +1, she rolled like a monster. You're immediately like, there is the Grand Ori Temple at the shrine of Kuranos up on his mountain peak. There's this way big damn mountain with a plateau at the very top where they've got this observatory, and Ori, which Ori is one of those dealios with the planets that does constellations, and it's totally off to the east. And
Getting progressively worse.
And these coins are like the preferred coins to bring to them because, basically their church mints those coins and then distributes them and then wants to get them back. It's kind of their thing.
Well, shit. I hate mountain climbing.
But you do know it is one hell of a pain in the ass of mountain climb to get up. I mean, once you get up to it, it's a lot of athleticsy stuff and a lot of, constitution save stuff. And there's you totally, with your history roll, know that there's merchants that are at the bottom of the hill that sell shit to people, knowing damn well people will leave it along the trail and they'll pick it up and sell it to the next people coming to the temple.
Have you ever tried to buy hiking boots to fit over hooves?
You just get those horseshoes put on for a while.
Not wearing any damn horseshoes.
Minotaur battle boots. They call them hoof sparkers.
There you go.
You strike the stone and sparks shoot off and intimidates the shit out of your enemies.
Ooh, fireworks.
Whereas, our cleric is like, God of the sky and thunder. No, my goddess hates that guy. He's a jerk.
Yep.
He's up there cracking lightning while she's on the ocean cracking lightning. And he's totally pompous and full of shit. So what are you guys thinking? I mean, and it could totally be that they just knocked over a bunch of priests and stole these coins from them. Because remember, each of the human kingdoms mint their own coins too, but each of the major temples mint their own coins. Except for certain gods or goddess, it doesn't really give a crap about currency because her people live under the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they don't mine gold out of underwater volcanoes when they find it. So what are you
So,
guys discussing around the table as the pitchers of wine are being brought out?
what do you guys think the relationship between these two gods would be?
Probably bad.
Like, is one trying to outdo the other? Like, were they actively working together or not? You have to understand, I have an intelligence of 8, so I'm super confused.
With your roll of 12 for religion, you basically know that the god of slaughter hates everybody. He's really a jerk. He kind of gets on with the god of the underworld, the death one. You know, not your monk's friend. You know, he does occasionally get along with the god of death because, well, he sends him so many customers. So
Right.
Mogus is pretty much hates everybody. His most hated, of course, person is his twin brother. But you're pretty sure that the god of slaughter and Keranos would have nothing to do with each other. But you do think that because your satyr friend here is convinced she's an oracle, and she's a legit oracle. And the temple of Keranos that we're talking about is like got the best oracle in the entire world. People go for a once in a lifetime Mecca trip to visit this oracle to get the answer of their life or the question of what they need to do in life to make it to the afterlife, the good one. You know, this is the holy trip to Mecca that people take. So it could be maybe she's going after the human kingdom further away from her own neighborhood, because from the look of her toga, she's probably from the nearest humans to the nearest Minotaur community. You know, the Spartanese folks. So she could be maybe wanting to spread her god's anger everywhere. Because that could be a thing too. Just keep saying, I sense the hunger of Mogus. And then a hungry monster gets there and they move on to the next town.
Right. So it tends to garner fear,
Mm-hmm.
and fear can very easily be turned to worship.
And you could totally come back to a town and say, you know, that thing killed your friends. Let's go slaughter it. And in turn, she could help people slaughter these things and then dedicate its corpse to her god and have her people that she's now converted because they followed the god of slaughter and slaughtered their enemies. That could totally be a thing too.
So should we disseminate the information more widely that this is sort of to the group? Disseminate the information more widely that they seem to have summoned this creature to the town? I mean, I told the drunk that, you know, just as a rumor that he could start. But it might be wise then to tell the townspeople, even though that would probably make them fairly angry.
So
nothing to discuss to direct that at.
Jess, go ahead and give me either a persuasion or deception roll real quick. Because since you're using him as a cat's paw, so to speak.
Alright, persuasion.
Damn.
Wow.
Ooh-wee. Okay, needless to say, now that you have an acolyte, and you know what, I'm going to do something really quick, just to make life easier for y'all. At the bottoms of your pages, you should see handouts of the gods.
Yep.
I'm going to click show to everyone on those so that way you guys can see them to make life easier. So when referencing gods, you can just look down and go, oh yeah, those guys. I totally forgot that I did not select them to be seen by you guys, so. It'll take a moment for it to all refresh because it's going really slow for me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I sense Roll20 is still having some latency from this weekend at Roll20Con. I feel horrible too that I missed out on all the gaming on Roll20Con. So you guys basically have an acolyte who the town drunk is going to totally be dropping exactly what about the Oracle. Because yes, with your natural 20, he's disseminating whatever information you would like to, whatever tale to tell, he is telling it exactly as you asked for it. For good or for bad, you've got an acolyte at this point.
Hooray.
And he's the town drunk. It's totally appropriate.
Yes, yeah. All right. He is fated to tell people that yeah, this was the work of the god of slaughter, not of on purpose, not random, his followers on purpose in order to terrorize the town.
So this is totally something she set up as opposed to,
An actual prophecy.
Yeah.
While Mogus is in general a big fan of all forms of slaughter, it is also true that almost everything Mogus does is in some way, shape, or form to further the goal of destroying Iroas.
Destroying what?
Iroas.
his centaur brother.
Yeah. Another one of the gods. He's a centaur, but he's like a bull centaur, not a horse centaur. It's weird.
Mhm.
One got the top half, the other one got the bottom half. I think somebody's jealous.
So I'm trying to figure out what purpose this little stunt could possibly play in that ultimate ongoing campaign and what the next step in the plan might be. What do you guys think? Why would summoning a death dog to this village in the middle of nowhere serve the battle between Mogus and Iroas?
Well, in one day it slaughtered 6 people.
I mean, there's always the diversionary tactic. She could always be pulling heroes away from places that she wants to attack later. I mean, if she was summoning something slightly tougher than the Death Dog, or I don't know.
In which case, we should follow in the direction that she went.
Yeah, I think that's
Not
the
be drawn
case
away
for
from
us,
what's
is that we
coming.
should probably follow her and fuck shit up.
That's the official term for
Nothing
it.
else. Charging bravely into battle and valiantly slaying our enemies will make Iroas happy, which will piss Mogus the hell off.
Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta get some water.
Okay. Do we want to take a 5-minute?
I'm up for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
5-minute break. Smoke it at your god's altar if you got it.
Okay, what I miss?
Absolutely nothing.
Exciting.
I'm
Everybody
I
else
already
take a
have
break?
water. I'm just gonna sit here.
Wow. I'm diabetic, so I drink a lot of water.
I understand. I am not diabetic, but I know lots of people who are.
And a lot of tea, which makes me drink even more water.
Yes, it does. Doody doody doo.
Yes.
Is anybody excited about Mandalorian on Friday?
A little.
A little.
Yeah.
You can complain about it all you want.
So the question is everyone going to do a death save when they come back? Because I really do like that idea.
Sure, since I get advantage on it. I know I'm a brat.
Yes,
Oops.
you are.
Oops.
But see, that's actually a really great way to say, hey, I'm back without like interrupting somebody's talking or whatnot.
Everybody do a death save.
Say what?
I mean, I joked with one of our Star Wars groups on the Tuesday night game of like, hey, we need to come up with something like that. But everybody's like, yeah, but if you roll a force dice, it actually rolls a force dice. But death save, that's a good thing. And apparently I have to keep one ear open because there's a dog outside that might start barking her butt off. She wanted to go outside and bark at her bunnies.
Bunnies.
And it is gloriously cool outside for those of you here in town.
Oh yeah, it's like 60 all morning up in Phoenix.
Yeah, so nice up here right now.
Gonna have a low of 40 tonight. That means windows open.
Exactly.
After all, I'm sure we'll be back to 90 at the end of the week.
Shut up.
I mean, it might be tomorrow the way our lives work, but still, I'll take it for the night.
I work outside. Shut up. I'm a fat guy from Chicago. I like it like this.
I'm like, my God, how can you survive the summers?
It's not pretty. It's 47 outside right now. What the hell?
Yeah,
I would take that literally all year round without a single moment of complaint.
it is like super chilly right now. I mean, it's gonna be blanket time tonight.
Yeah. Oh, it's supposed to get up to 82 on Friday.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Why is it so fucking cold? And it's 57 in Phoenix, of course.
Hey, it just means that cold weather finally is hitting. Unfortunately, we're not getting the rainy weather we normally get in Halloween.
We got a little rain this morning.
Yeah, we got that 3 minutes on the north side of Tucson.
That was longer than that.
Unfortunately,
It was like 5.
unfortunately, our side of town usually is the last to get the rain, and we don't get much of it when it does hit.
Well, that's kind of what happens.
Yep, like the east side of town usually gets nailed, and the south side always gets nailed because that's where it comes up from, the south. But
I don't know. I've lived in the south side, on the east side, and the north side, and whenever I am, it never fucking rains.
You're bad luck. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I used to have it like pour on the east side of Tucson when I lived down there.
well,
Now I get no rain in Mesa, so that's fun.
that's because it's Mesa.
I have like a 5-minute drive to work every day. It's okay. I don't care where I am.
I have an hour and 20, but
currently
That's because
working from home, so I have a 2-minute commute.
yeah, we don't have any we don't have any projects down here right now, so I got to drive up to Phoenix every day.
Thanks.
At least I don't have to go to Happy Valley tomorrow.
But it's happy.
No,
No.
it's not.
Just no.
I'll just stop you right there.
Yeah, the misnomer with that name.
It's like surprise. Well, it's a surprise because there's nothing there.
This is why they say don't buy the advertising.
Why did they call it Greenland? Because they wanted people to move there.
Because they needed population.
Why did they call it Iceland? Because they don't want people to move there.
Because they have all those beautiful places they want to keep to themselves.
Yep.
Clever Vikings.
Greedy bastards.
It's all about where you can get the people to go.
Except for, oddly enough, Iceland's also one of the countries that has a restriction on what you can call your kids.
Yeah, the governor will look at you and say, that name's ridiculous. Take it away.
Like this one family was fighting to call their kid Chris, but there is no C in the alphabet they use. So they're like, no, you can't.
Not even just like Kris?
No, it was like the standard Christopher. Chris. But since there's no C,
They're like, nope, we don't have that.
yeah.
We will not put that on government documents.
Yep. Well, fucked up, but whatever. You'd think it was like, China or something. No, we have too many Lyns already.
Okay.
It occurs to me that I probably should have asked for that. Since I have an alkaloid now, I probably should have. I don't know. I'm thinking a little slowly. I probably should have told him more about Clothis.
Too late now. Hindsight's
And,
2020.
It's like,
know.
I really should have upsold that one.
Yep.
It's just kind of like no matter what happens, hindsight is going to be 2020 come next Wednesday.
I suppose I could always find him and ply him with more drink, but
It's like, so here's what you're gonna have to do.
so here's some more things that you should tell people while you're doing this. Tell them all about how, this wasn't a real act of fate. This was just, people messing with it.
It was fate adjacent.
Fate light.
These were people trying to cheat fate, not true oracles. And that Clothis is returning to return fate to its proper order.
Ho, 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 ho.
Now go convert some other people for me so I can get some piety in this pyramid scheme I've just invented.
Ha-ha.
I've invented pyramid piety. For each person that you convert, they will also earn piety for you. Which you then pass on to me.
That's horrible. In the best way ever.
Yeah.
I think you just cut right to the root of religion a couple centuries early.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Damn, you could practically be Roman Catholic.
Yes, I'll just be a Greek Orthodox Catholic. What? That's not quite right.
No.
Close enough.
No.
Not quite. So you guys basically spend the night drinking. Thankfully get a long rest in the day because you guys can go back to whichever hovels you were living at, which is basically the back of the wine house. And you guys are opting to what? Head east? That sounded like the general consensus?
Yeah. I am thinking about trying to tell people about Clothis just to try and gain some more piety, but I don't know if I really want to roleplay that because I'm tired.
Okay. So you basically you're gonna want to try to tell the community they should really set up a altar to the goddess of fate.
Sure.
Or do you want to be subtle and just do a religious ceremony to Clothis and set up an altar yourself? One of those little roadside ones. Nowadays you see them as like the Mother Teresa. I mean, not Mother Teresa, the Virgin Mother little shrines.
Since I have an alkalite, I could even have someone maintain it for me.
You totally
Tell
could.
people tell people about things, and
Go ahead.
Just give sort of a brief overview of like, here's how a proper way of the fate is supposed to be advanced. Is sort of instead of like people summoning monsters to murder people to like get their ocular visions to come to pass.
So go ahead and give me a religion roll to see what the fates say.
Oh boy.
It's always more fun when the fates kick in.
Is that roll going to happen, or is this going to be...
Are you getting delayed reaction?
15.
So 15. So you set up an altar, and you do the spiel, and you set up some horsetail hairs that simulate her hair that weaves into all fates. And your acolyte is following behind you, and he's giving you that amen after everything you say. And folks are looking, and they're just realizing that you guys did kill a death dog and come back without a scratch on anyone. And people are like, hey, there definitely might be something to this worshipping fate bit. I mean, I'm gonna come by and put some stuff on that.
Come here, you little weasel. Sorry.
As all of a sudden our illustrious monk is chasing Weasel. Yeah, he's just going on a wild
magic and axes.
He's on a magic weasel chase.
Or do you got better things to do, huh?
Is he running away?
He's looking at me like I'm fucking insane.
He's like, no touchy touchy.
Pretty much.
You no touchy touchy.
Probably was the one that died.
Aw. That's one thing I hate about ferrets. They go too. You lose them too soon.
Oh, you know. Yeah, he had insulinoma. So, which happens.
Mm-hmm. So
Something inbreeding or
Mhm.
something.
yeah, it's too small of a gene pool for the ferrets because it's not like you're allowed to bring a fertile one across state borders.
Not most states, no. Yeah.
Not in most states in Canada. Apparently, Canada, it's a big deal with them. They're like, nope, don't mess with the local minks. So you guys are making plans to head east. So what is the plan?
We're going to take decisive action on impulse and fight against those who would rule over others.
Are you
Decisive
going for
action with
inspiration?
impulse.
That totally sounds like you're going for inspiration there.
Decisive action and impulse. Never mind.
I like how we have a bard who's wanting decisive action, period.
Do I gain any piety for teaching these people any?
We're gonna roll and see because it's gonna be depending on how long lasting this is for you.
Okay, that's fine.
Since you're farming the piety there, I'm gonna slow your roll a little bit,
Hey,
capping
well,
it at
trying
once
to-
per session.
What can I say? I'm trying to play my character, who's
No,
Once
but
per
that's
session?
good.
Oh my god. Nobody's ever gonna make it to 50.
Oh, don't worry. Once you get past 3, it's gonna speed up. After 3, then you have the cool powers. Then I can start having happen a couple times a session. So what is the plan? I mean, are you guys just gonna head off down the road? You just gonna see if you can sweet talk a widow out of her wagon? You guys gonna go roll over the first noble you see, or are you just gonna walk behind this caravan and try to catch up to him? Hopefully.
I mean, I'm always down for rolling nobles. We don't really need a reason for that.
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, they do have horses, so catching up with them might be difficult. But if they do a multi-day ritual on a regular basis, we might be able to. I don't know. It's always a forced.
That's assuming only
Are
one
there
person's
any other
doing
caravans that are going that way that we could hitch a ride with?
Not that you guys know, our plan to come through the area anytime soon.
it. How much does a horse cost?
Horses cost a lot.
I don't think we
Yeah,
have
it's
enough
like
for
75, 80 gold or something.
Of course.
All of a sudden, it looks really good to ride the Minotaur.
So, not going there.
Yeah.
Hear me.
So I guess we just have to hit the road on the. We're gonna be hoofing it,
Okay.
unless we are
Hardy,
flipping it.
har.
I mean, between the satyr and the Minotaur, you have a good horse trot sound going.
Can I even ride a horse? Maybe a draft horse.
Well, anyone can attempt to use a horse or a land animal. You can always attempt to use it. And
I'm
mounted
worried about
combat is
killing the horse.
really advantageous. I mean, I'm sure there's other things you'd probably want to ride rather than a horse. Something a little bigger and stouter. Or at least like Clydesdale breed horses, so that way you're not crushing the poor thing.
A draft horse.
Yeah. Draft horses are actually cheaper than riding horses.
Yes, they are.
And they're huge.
But I was thinking more like a rhinoceros.
Hey, that is a thing. I mean, so those that need a horse, you could get a donkey or mule for 8 gold, a draft horse for 50, a riding horse for 75, or a war horse for 400 if you want a horse that's badass and useful in a fight.
And what's a warhorse? A draft horse trained to fight.
Draft horse is not really trained to fight.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's the only difference.
Yeah, and its speed is 20 feet less.
Oh, for
Your
how much is
warhorse,
200 gold, we can get an elephant.
How much is a cart?
if you want to buy a cart, you can buy that easy for 15 gold.
Okay, so
But
we have 65 gold between us to get a horse and cart.
I don't think so,
Is
dude.
draft horse gonna pull all of us?
That's what the cart's for.
The poor thing can, yes. Should it? No.
This
I
is
mean-
for how long?
You guys could always opt for 2 draft horses, but that's a lot of money. Or you just go for 2
How much is an ox?
mules. You
How
can
much
go
is an
with.
ox?
Currently, there are no oxes available, but there are donkeys and mules available, and those are only 8 gold. Those are cheap.
But they go slower.
Well, yeah, because
But we don't have to walk.
How
Well,
much did we find today?
We found 9 gold and 12 silver after doing the thing with the
I
bearing.
mean, I have some
we
golden
actually
shit.
could have afforded
That's
a
a
couple
mule.
and a carrot.
So
a
go ahead
cart.
and discuss this real quick. I'm gonna sign off and go get the dog real quick. She's barking. I'll be right back. So you guys figure out what you'd like to do.
So we found enough for a mule.
I think we probably have enough saved up that we could buy a second mule and the cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just guessing off of.
Or
We
wagon
don't have
or
a lot of money
whatever.
left at that point.
I mean, we'll just save some more grateful peasants and we'll get some more money later.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. Items.
I have 5 gold right now.
I haven't spent any. I think I had 15.
I have 10 gold.
No. I have 15.
All right, so we have enough to buy. Oh, excuse me. There's not that much difference between the donkey and the draft horse in terms of since we're not riding it.
Right. Does anybody have it pulled up? What's the difference between a donkey and a mule?
Mules are bigger. That's about all I remember.
Maybe we should get ourselves a draft.
Because a mule's a cross between a donkey and a horse.
Right.
Mules are cool.
So a donkey, they are exactly the same mechanically. A donkey and a mule. They cost 8 gold pieces. They have a speed of 40, and they can carry 420 pounds.
Okay.
What about
The draft horse is going to be 50 gold pieces. So that's pretty much out.
Okay,
An
sorry,
animal
I'm back.
pulling a cart can move up to 5 times its carrying capacity. I don't know. Cart weighs.
especially if there's 2 of them? So that
makes it 10 times, basically.
So that means they can move 2 tons.
Yeah.
And a cart weighs 200 pounds, by the way.
Yeah, but how big
So
is
if
a
we
cart?
got 2 donkeys and a cart, we should all be good.
Conveniently, thanks to D&D mechanics, a cart can usually hold 4 to 6 people.
Okay, so because I'm like, do we have to go up to a wagon or?
Conveniently, with 2 in the front and 4 in the back, you can easily hold 6 adventurers in a cart.
Yep, okay.
Or comfortably hold 4 and equipment. Because, reasons. It's almost like the rules back up the game mechanics.
Imagine.
Crazy talk.
All right,
Okay.
so sounds
All
like
right.
we're going to buy 2 donkeys and a cart.
Alright, who's chipping in what?
For a total of 32? 31.
Yeah, 31. And we found 9 gold plus a bunch of silver, so basically 10 gold, right?
Yeah.
So we need to come up with 21 more between us. So if we all chip in a few.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am the poorest among us.
Oh, are we going to do this? Everyone has to contribute according to their wealth.
We're gonna have a tier donation system.
The only thing I need coins for is for, death rights. So,
Well, if we each chip in
But-
5 gold pieces, then
and
we'll have too
and if
many
James
gold
is going to let me
pieces.
use silver instead of gold, I don't need all that much, so I can chip in 10.
There's 5 of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
So
all
if
chip
we
in
all
4.
did 5 foot and then 1.
If we each chip in 4, then we
Yeah, let's each chip in 4. I'll chip in an extra one. I'll chip in 5.
all right. And I'll have 1 gold piece left.
We'll get some
Yeah.
more soon.
I'm
I'll
fine.
make sure you have drinks. Don't worry.
That's good.
When I play my
I'm trying
bagpipe,
to good.
people always give me alcohol.
Yep.
And when you're giving booze to a Minotaur, everybody always gives a bigger cup.
Yep.
One doesn't skimp on the cup for the Minotaur.
It's amazing. People love my bagpipe music so much. Everywhere I go, as soon as I start to play, people just start shoving drinks at me.
Okay. And then we should probably throw in some for animal feed.
We have to feed them too.
Yes.
Nope. They can't just nibble on grass.
Well, I mean, we don't need all that much, just in case they can't find grass to nibble on,
All right. How much is a sack of feed going to cost?
Per day.
For
it's
2 of them, it's
5 silver.
5.
Like,
No, it's
It's
5 copper per day per animal.
So 1 silver piece for both.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, well, we had a silver piece left over from pound. We had, yeah.
See how that really kind of works out?
Everyone adjusted their golds.
And
It's
conveniently,
almost like somebody did it on purpose.
Yeah.
DMs are so devious.
what if we bought a rowboat instead?
It sounds really useful out here.
Yeah.
and by robot he means a, mechanical man, and the mechanical man's like, okay, here.
I said rowboat, but okay.
Oh, I thought you said robot.
I heard robot.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
that would be
okay.
an anvil
One of those would have
forged.
been somewhat practical.
You totally have Anvil Forge as a class and a race, so, that's
Yeah,
totally a thing.
Warforged and anvil forged, yeah.
See, for a second there, I'm like, was that my dog? No, I let the damn dog in.
I think that's my neighbor's dog. Unless someone let my dogs out.
And then you have to ask that question.
Oh no.
It's totally waiting
It
for
doesn't
somebody to
sound
say
like-
who let
I
the
was waiting
dogs
for
out.
her to say it.
I'm like,
It's gonna make my brain
You
hurt.
let their dogs out.
if nobody says it, it's just going to cause somebody to stroke.
Yeah.
Okay, so we found someone to purchase what we need from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Conveniently, since you are big damn heroes, they're like, hey, you can buy my wagon.
Ain't we just?
Because
Yep.
my husband's dead and I'll use the money to go to the big city.
Hooray! We're heroes. Just not big enough heroes.
Ooh, how much does a battle balloon cost?
First, you need to find a inventor to make it for you.
Asking the important questions, though, y'all.
I think that's some
All right.
interesting
On a quest for a
vehicles.
Zeppelin.
Or the demon grinder.
How much piety would I get for creating a battle zeppelin?
It depends. If the battle zeppelin also works as a mobile napalm deployer when you fail on the piloting of the zeppelin, and it just crashes and napalms the countryside.
I don't think at that point I'll be worried about my piety score anymore.
How much piety would I get for baking pies with Keth's name in it?
That's just wrong.
It's piety. Delicious piety.
Okay, but you have to make 3.14 of them.
Yes. Get 3.14 piety.
Oh, the pie jokes.
Could be worse.
It
I
could
mean,
be
we are in
worse.
Greece.
I'm not sure how, but it could be worse.
Should we actually do something in our remaining time, or?
Yep. Well, that's so you guys you bought your wagons. You've spent anything you need.
Wagons East!
Eastward ho!
It's a stupid movie, but hey. It's got John
What
Candy.
time of day is it now?
It's a stupid movie with too many good actors to be that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, how did they go wrong?
Just like the Star Wars Holiday Special. I mean, oops, that never happened.
That got retconned. No Skywalker and Gold
The
LeMay.
next day.
I mean, nobody wants to see Chewbacca's dad watching porn on goggles.
Right. Or the interminably long sequence of watching Wookiee cartoons that we can't even understand.
Oh, you know, the Boba Fett cartoon wasn't that bad.
That was the only good thing about it, and the fact that we got to finally see Boba Fett's gun used in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His rifle in the cartoon.
They might be mad. They might be mad. I disintegrated a few of them.
So you guys are basically heading in the same direction as you believe you need to go. You guys believe you're going the right direction. You totally believe you are. So who's in charge of the vehicle? And does anyone have land vehicles as a proficiency?
I do not.
No.
You know?
That's not the kind of
Well, I know
vehicles
the
I'm used to
history of land
using.
vehicles. Does that count?
No, but I can intimidate the fuck out of the donkeys.
That's like the official thing is intimidate the fuck out of the donkeys. And I totally approve of that.
Oop.
And apparently someone's going to go for the language of the donkey. Donkey, do you hear what I'm saying, donkey?
I can
So-
roll for
Waffles.
I can go roll for performance for
Pantomime donkey
to be a
go-go.
donkey handler.
I might be a vehicle navigator, or I stayed at a Best Western.
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead and someone give me a d20 roll. You can utilize your agility or strength or intelligence or wisdom because it's basically land vehicles. You tell me what stat you're using to help your navigation of these animals. So basically that's the bonus you use. So are you being really smart about it? Are you being wise about it? Are you being quick and agile to correct them? Are you being very charismatic with lots of "Yaw, donkey, yaw"?
I
I
don't
could
think
try a
anyone's going to be
dexterity
trustworthy.
roll.
Yeah, who's got the reins of the? So our
Intimidation.
Minotaur is driving the donkeys, snapping the little things. It's kind of ironic that the yoke of Minotaur oppression is upon these donkeys. Okay, so
Oh God. Oh,
well,
we're
remember
betting 1,000.
only one person gets to be in charge of the donkeys, so only one person is driving. So
No, it's
basically,
okay. I couldn't figure out how to do it anyways.
Miki is our wagon driver, and she's driving these little guys along, and so you guys are making good time catching up. So somebody give me a survival, or yeah, let's go survival. Just one of you guys. So one of you guys pick who's going to give me the survival roll.
I got a
me.
2. Nothing special.
I just got a 3.
Well, the
You're it
dice
so
doesn't
far.
care what your bonus
Wow,
is.
Whoa!
y'all suck.
At least it's not a critical failure.
As you guys are doing your thing, but unfortunately, you guys lose a little bit of time because trying to set camps and stuff. Thankfully, you're barbarian, by the way. I do believe he's got a thing where he can feed everybody off the land itself, right?
I can.
You can't.
Up to 5 others plus myself.
I like how you emphasized can, like you might not.
I mean, if dice are a thing, there's always a chance I can.
Well, no, it's an automatic thing.
I know, but I don't know how mean you want to be right now.
Wow. So you're learning the barbarian's kind of a jerk. Every now and then you got to kick him out of the wagon and make him run. Because every time and then you have to kick him out and make him run.
And that's what that charisma 8 gets me.
Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden you just look at the barbarian and he just like farts. It kind of like gives a cat smile, which is that weird derpy tongue. Y'all think he's like sticking his tongue out to eat you or something, and no, it's actually just cat derpy smile.
It's better than a half orc with a charisma of 3.
That's just nasty. So you guys basically,
it's from a book.
you see a couple roads that partial off. The path that takes you off to where the centaurs live, path that goes to the cool druidy folks, and then you see the path that takes you to the oracle's path. And there's like nicely done signs. I mean, somebody does a good job of putting signs on these roads, so you can't miss the road you have to turn on. Unfortunately, with our cleric survival roll, she has no clue about wagon marks because they've all blended into each other. You guys have hit cobblestones, really good cobblestones, that probably threw off her tracking of the carts. So you're kind of at the why of, do we go to the shrine? Do we go to the human polis? So you guys are definitively going to go to the shrine, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably a good bet to go first.
Okay. So you guys, yeah, mule. You go head up to the shrine section, and as soon as you get there, you see like 3 little kiosk, almost like shops. Like one sells food, one sells water skins, probably not all full of water, and then a third one, of course, has got like a myriad of adventuring gear. And all the stuff looks used. Nothing looks brand new. And they're just like, hey, do you want to buy an idol of the idols that will protect you from all evil gods' thoughts and intentions? Ooh, do you want to buy this idol? This idol will bring the gods or goddesses to your bed.
Why does this rope have blood on it?
Oh, that special grease that gives it extra traction for when you hold it in your hands. As you like pick some skin out of the blood. And pretty much you've got it. Everything looks like it's either been pulled off a dead body or found on the side of the road type of condition. Functional,
we
but
protect people from the evil gods. I think we're good.
But you may need these idols. Do you have an idol for the god of storms to make sure he does not strike you from his mountain?
We laugh in the face of the god of storms.
Roll me a
D20.
D20.
Oh dear, what
and
have I
then,
done?
Then tell me high or low before you roll.
Would help if I actually laugh in the face of the god of storms.
Hi.
High, okay. So high is good. High. God of storms did not hear you say that. Remember what Odysseus got for just not thanking Poseidon for his help. Yeah, these gods are jerks like that.
They are assholes.
As there's an
I've
ominous
that whole time.
thunder crack in the background as you say that, and the merchant like shrieks like, "Don't say that too loudly, friend. You won't make it to the top of the hill. So, if you don't make it back from the top of the hill, can I have your cart?"
No.
And he kind of points back. He's like, "I've got 3 other carts for sale if you need more carts." And you look back and see these poorly maintained, falling apart carts. It looks like he just parked them in the back and is just letting them dry rot out because he's not a wagon guy. He's just
So,
like,
Yeah,
Right.
no, you clearly can't take care of a cart. You don't bother.
what I'm really curious about is if you've seen any other people coming through here recently. This is the only road leading up.
oh yes, yes, I've seen many people want to go to the great diviner of the gods' wills. Matter of fact, yesterday I saw a prince, and he looks kind of like looks at your group, and he kind of like takes that half second to take you all. And he's like, a Triton prince went up there to get his fortunes told before going back to his people on an island very far away. For 2 weeks ago, I saw a centaur priestess, clonk hoof over hoof up this hill to get her fortune told, to find out what she must do to save the one she loves.
We were more interested in a large caravan that we'd seen.
And when you throw specifics out there, he just starts stroking his nice little goatee, and the human puts his hand out and just rubs his paw. He's just like, coins talk, friends. Without saying it, he's suggesting it.
So how much for the idol?
It depends. Do you want the idol and a blessing, or the idol, the blessing, and information?
Oh, that sounds like a steep price right there. No one else is gonna rescue me here.
Nope.
I mean, I could roar real loud and try and scare him. If you want me to try that, that's about it.
Well, I could try to persuade him as well.
Okay.
I just didn't want to interrupt you.
I can try to persuade him. I have no money.
I'd like to point out that those carts you own have outlived their usefulness, and it would make my god extremely happy if I were to destroy them for you.
No,
Although
those
I
are
could be
premium
willing to
merchandise.
mend them for him.
It's part of the cycle of creation and destruction. Performance is clear on this point.
You could also make a few more coins if all of your things were in better working condition.
What kind of deal are you offering here?
I can mend your items fairly easily. You could double your prices.
He gets kind of excited when you say that, and he's just like, so show me what you got. Show me what you can do.
Examples.
The rope with the blood on it, I cast mending.
Ooh. So you pull this rope up, and you see there's a chunk that was like severed off of it, and you just like mend, and the rope goes pristine. Hemp rope.
Cantrip. I can cast it as many times as I want.
Mm-hmm.
I can prestidigitate things clean as well.
There we go.
Yeah. Perhaps we can trade service for service here.
And he immediately looks over at the Minotaur and says, so, maybe I can talk to your friend here while you go fix some of my junk. I mean, my great merchandise. And of course, the food and drink guys are just like not shaking their head like, oh god, you guys are gonna get taken by this guy. And he's like, here, fix this idle chain. And it's just a necklace chain that's broken, that's been kind of tied up into an ugly knot.
Which nobody knows how that happens, but
Magically happens.
the Gordian.
They're jerks.
That's how the Gordian knot was created.
I think maybe you might want to tell us a little bit of information before we go any further here.
Well, I have many things to tell you, so continue, and I will talk while you mend things. And he starts talking really slowly. and he goes over there and he picks like some random junk jewelry thing, and he walks over to the guy who's got the water skins, and kind of throws the junk jewelry on the counter and takes one of the wine skins without even asking. The guy just shakes his head at him. Like you can see this is their shtick that they've had for a while. And he slowly pours some water in his bowl and starts taking long draws of his drink in between words. So he's stretching it out as much as it's to the point of you all know without a shadow of a doubt he is stretching this out for as much as he can get fixed out of you guys.
Well, our bard friend here could go the other way. It depends on how, willing you are to help us.
Well, now that you mention it, she's not the first Minotaur I've seen this week.
Interesting.
Ruto?
Why, just 4 days ago. And you pretty sure you may have lost a couple days following them because, draft, donkey in a cart as opposed to fast moving, horses. That sounds about right, that they could be that far ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, 4 days ago, a beautiful woman, and he just does the hourglass handshake, which really sounds familiar to the person you're chasing, in the most stunning of attitudes, but a shrew when you talk to her. She arrived with many friends, and among them were 2 Minotaur. And all tough-looking customers in their wagons. Obviously, she was getting ready to go to war with someone because they all brandished, unlike you who've got very civilized weapons. They all had brutish weapons. And the Minotaurs, I thought Azin over there was going to be eaten by one of them because they ate all of his food. And when he asked for coin, they just kind of growled at him. And I was just surprised when Azin told them that they were eating fetid calf. Minotaurs eating cows. Who does this? And then she told us that they eat people. So we were kind of willing to give them all of our food so they weren't hungry. You know what I mean.
Can I do a religion roll for that?
Sure.
I mean,
Insight?
clearly we're right that Mogus is involved here.
Well, that's what the religion roll was for. I mean, to know if that's something that the followers of Mogus do.
What, eating people?
Yeah.
Totally. 10 will tell you eating people is totally a thing that Mogus worshipping Minotaurs do, like as a regular practice. Mogus's Minotaurs are basically think of the Minotaur that they used to send the 10 virgins to go feed the thing for a couple months at a time. Totally a thing. Not like our sweet, lovable Ferdinand the cow Minotaur we have, who likes to sniff the flowers and go into the bushes. Those are her
sweet music.
Those are her asshole redneck cousins off in the woods, And there are some Minotaurs that are actually good folks, just like your bard. It's just that Mogus worshippers really are the evil baby-eating monsters of these stories that they tell. It's the stigma that your poor bard is fighting with her charisma and charming music.
Yes, there is some stereotype at work. It is difficult.
Even when she performs badly and somebody goes, "More cowbell!" And then she charges through the crowd.
So while he's talking and actually giving us information, I am going ahead and fixing chains and whatnot here and there.
And he's like got his feet up on the counter. He's like he is so pleased with seeing what you guys are doing because he's realizing the value is going way up. Because pretty much most of his stuff is being sold at half price because he got it for free. And he's just like beaming. And he's like, and it's been 4 days and they haven't come down off the mountain. I mean, either they died, they blew off the other side of the mountain, or they're staying up there for some reason. But I would hate to say, I don't want to speak ill of, Minotaurs, as he smiles at your Minotaur, because obviously your Minotaur is not one of those Minotaurs, because, she's so friendly. As he kind of does that whole fiddles with his necklaces under his shirt and pulls out the symbol of happiness and good God, the goddess of hospitality, and he's like, this is my favorite goddess, and you can totally tell he's got like one of each under his shirt. He's that guy that he just has all the holy symbols just because.
Mhm.
Oh,
I think
Yeah,
this
well,
guy
we
has
can
something else to say.
Can I roll insight to see if he's telling the truth?
Definitely. So with your 13, you do believe that what he's saying is the truth. And in fact, at one point he starts to embellish, and you give him the stink eye. You give him a little side eye there, and he immediately pulls back on the embellishment and goes back to just the truth and not the embellishment. And the big thing he leaves off with that she went up there with about 6 guys, all human, and 4 Minotaur, which that's a small army right there.
Yeah.
6 brutish guys and 2 Minotaur. That's you have 1 Minotaur, and you know how that is. All of them with weapons, and she went up there with apparently a sacrifice of some. So she had a pair of goats that she took up there for sacrifice, and possibly a slave or an attendant. You know how you can never tell with that kind of thing. It could be that they were slave meant for sacrifice, or they're just an attendant that takes care of them. But the weird thing was, and he kind of does the shifty back and forth. The really weird thing is they didn't leave their wagons. And he looks back at his wagons that you're fixing, and he's like, I don't know why. They had 3 of their men drive the wagons off to some place. I didn't hear where. I mean, my poor ears are failing me. And by the way, when he tells that, your insight tells you he's lying about his ears fading. He hears everything.
So it's, every time he starts to do that, instead of fixing chains, I start to mimic that I'm going to pull them apart.
And he's like, I didn't hear where they were going exactly, but I know that the wagons are supposed to be back in 2 days. I don't know where they went, but I know that they'll be back in 2 days.
How do you know?
And then he's just looking around at all the treasures that you fixed, and he's like, so can I offer you some water once you finish?
So how long does it usually take people to go up the mountain?
Well, usually if you're really, really strong and you're really good, you can get up there in 2 days. And then I don't know how long you have to wait. Sometimes it can be a week that the priests make you wait. It's all until the oracle says she's ready to give you your vision. I think it's just because the priests sell food and drink up there. Because, where else are you going to buy food and drink except with the priests? It's a great racket. At their inflated prices because all the food has to be shipped up there.
You sound like you know a lot about that.
Well, and he kind of looks over at the guy that's got the food, kiosk, and he's like, how much do you charge to take food up there? And the guy just kind of gives us this arms up in the air like, shut up, you idiot. You're giving away all the secrets. But I would definitely recommend you buy food from my friend over there because it's cheaper than up on the mountain. And it's much fresher because, the priests only come down off the mountain once a month, and that's like many, many days away. So basically he's giving you in 2 days the wagons should be coming back. Priests aren't coming down off the hill for another 2 weeks, basically.
Or we could go up there and we could fight them.
I feel like it would be more to our advantage to wait for them.
Probably. Unless they're doing something bad up there.
That's not taking decisive action on impulse.
That's not acting like a hero of myth.
I don't think...
I don't have to do that.
We'll wait for danger to come to us. Give us some food, Shoppy.
Hey, when you live in the water, you like to go with the path of least resistance.
Go with the flow.
What if we split the difference and we go up one day and we ambush them up there? Wait, that's probably not a...
So what option do y'all think you're going to do?
Oh, probably shouldn't wait here because if they're not down, haven't come back down yet, it can't be good.
I actually like your idea about going up part way. I would think that if they were going to be expecting us, that down here would be more likely. So if we go up part way and try to find a good place to lie in wait, that might be good.
That could work.
And then I was also thinking we could ask this guy to quote unquote stable our mules, and we could mend, half now and half when we come back. So he has to wait for us to come back before he gets his full payment.
At that point, he's like, yes, excellent. Fix more of my things.
You realize he's going to sell our mules. They won't be here when we come back.
Then
Well, the other thing is we could sell them to him.
We come back down, he's going to try to sell them back to us for triple.
Buy cheap, sell high.
Or I could poison him and offer him the antidote in a few days.
You, sir, have been poisoned. Would you like the antidote? The price has just gone up.
Make things taste like a lot of stuff.
I'm neutral. I don't care.
I could totally see using that for when food's not salty enough.
Well, bringing the animals up with us is going to make it a lot harder for us to ambush them, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, you look at this giant mountain in front of you and you realize the animals would not. I mean, you could probably take them single file and put your stuff on them. You could traverse the mountain, but it's one of those, it would be difficult on them. You can totally see where like Rain Cloud just like cuts through the mountain real quick and you see like a whole section just turn into a waterfall. And that's the path!
Yeah, even I don't have that much intimidation in me.
Yeah.
This is where
Is there a way that we could get like an ironclad agreement with this guy? Through
sure, as he
persuasion
spits
or
in his hand.
intimidation or whatever?
You could totally negotiate with them. I mean,
would that just be persuasion?
Sure, a persuasion for negotiating the whole, hey, don't steal our shit. It'll be in your best interest. Yeah. And at this point, you will have advantage with the stuff that you've already done for him. See how these little things pay off? So the question is...
persuasion, so...
So a 14 for him to be super nice to you guys. And he's like, you know what? I'll even feed your mules while you're gone. Are they donkeys? Are they mules? I'm always confused about that.
They're donkeys.
They're duels.
They're monkeys. Buy some monkeys. They're cheeky monkeys.
You take good care of them, and when we come back, perhaps I will not feel like pleasing my God by destroying all of your useless things.
Wow. As he kind of gives the Minotaur a look of like, ooh, don't make her angry. Here, have a fertility charm. It is made from the testicles of a goat. I'm not exactly sure what's inside the sack.
Whoa now. Read the room, dude.
What's inside a goat's sack? Wait, can I? I've never really looked inside there.
I mean, you don't want it if it's just being offered.
Yeah. That's an adventure I'm unfortunate not to have. Yet. Oh, God.
Okay, so the plan is
on this.
The plan is to politely leave the goat testicle sack on the counter and head up the temple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Maybe
you
I'm-
guys see the 1,000 steps in front of you before it turns into mountainside, and you guys start traversing steps and traversing steps and traversing steps, and you totally can see why every now and then when you look at the side of these beautiful marble steps that were carved out of the mountainside, that there's like things left on the side that apparently people haven't picked up yet, like bowl, glass, shovel, pry bar, things that people are just like too exhausted to keep carrying, so they leave behind. So each of
People
you
like this
guys,
stuff.
are you adding additional stuff to you guys? Are you leaving your supplies in the wagon?
No.
I'm taking my stuff with me. It's not like I have much.
Okay.
Some rations, rope, and a bedroll. I mean, geez.
I'm
Okay.
not going anywhere without my sword and my bagpipes, so.
Okay, so you guys are up there, and you're getting that it's hot Mediterranean heat hitting you guys, and then also you get slapped with a 2-second rain burst because there's these annoying storms that just keep circling the freaking mountain, super annoying because they rain just enough to give you a chill, and then you get hot and sticky. So each of you guys give me a Constitution save. I'm looking for a 10 or higher.
Oh,
dear. Oh dear.
yay!
Go, Kevin.
Holy
Go,
shit.
Kevin.
Everybody's handling this like a champ, like you're a bunch of adventurers. I'm trying to jinx the last roll, but it didn't help. Okay, so you guys are all,
Not at all.
you are humping the 2 miles up in the air, and you're just looking at each other like, my God, this is a hike. I know what they mean. You get to the point where the marble steps stop because basically this marble vein that was on the side of the mountain ends, and then you see a nice, it's a fairly nice wide, it's like 20 to 30 foot path that starts snaking up the mountain in a spiral, and you guys start doing the hike up there, and you realize this is going to be like a freaking 20-mile hike up this mountain because you're going around the mountain. So how high up are you planning? Because it sounds like you're planning an ambush, right?
Yeah.
How
I
high
think
up
we
are
have
you
to find the
planning?
lay of the land first. Maybe what we're looking for is a spot that would be more appropriate, not so much how far are we going to go up.
Okay, so like a good breakneck corner so they won't see you coming until they walk around the corner?
Somewhere where there's some rocky terrain overlooking the path so we can hide in the rocks and have the high ground.
Okay.
So you can assess how many of them there still are. If they've been doing some naughty stuff up there might be few of them.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, but it also means they won.
Yeah, that too.
My cousins are no joke.
Yeah. So, we probably don't want to jump into a fight with too many of them. If there's 10 of them and there's 5 of us, then we don't want to.
Right.
If there's 10 of them and 5 of us, that means they really kicked ass when they were up there.
Yeah, that would be mildly terrifying.
I mean,
Good. So we need to take cover and see what we're dealing with before we go.
James, I'm going to roll a religion roll to see if I can figure out how many guards would be up there.
Okay.
Wow, I'm batting 1,000 today.
You're pretty sure that at least half the priests that would be up there are probably not priests. They're more like warrior guards or bodyguards type of thing. But you know that it's a big facility with your 10, that they usually have dozens of priests up there.
Okay.
So, I mean, unless these guys are really Billy Badass type guys, which, from the description of them, it sounds like they are. The priests are a small army on themselves. That's why nobody's rolled them. They can take care of themselves for the most part.
Okay.
All right.
So not only do you have to hike uphill 20 miles, then you got to fight off a couple dozen.
Then you got the warrior monks jumping you while you're exhausted. And you've been camping on the side of a hill for 2 days, and that's if you made your athletics roll.
Priests and paladins. Yeah.
And that's, assuming God doesn't smite you for attacking his chosen oracle.
Lightning coming off, because remember, it's according to the rumors, she's his daughter. I mean, and it's assuming the oracle didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
Yuck. Okay, so you guys find a nice rocky outcropping. Give me one more Constitution save or a survival roll. I'll let you roll either or.
Uh-oh, Miki.
Uh-oh. So both
Oh.
our monk and our bard were overdoing it seems.
Yep.
So both, let's see. So it looks like it's our warlock, our bard, and our monk are just like wheezing because of the thin air. It's something to do with a guy who came from the stars. Apparently he's not used to thin air. It's kind of funny. But definitely our minotaur and our satyr are like, they're not used to the high mountains. She comes from a valley tribe, not a mountain tribe. So you guys are all kind of sucking the air because you got the altitude sickness. It just kind of like makes everything more exhausting. So
yes.
each of you guys go ahead and mark that you've got 1 level of exhaustion.
Where is...
I don't think there's a place per se. I would just mark it on like the first tab of your character sheet. And it's just that until you get a long rest and actually just rest, you guys are pretty much exhausted. It doesn't really set you back as much as you'd think, but it is one of those things that it just sucks being exhausted. And pretty much all of you guys are all for the idea of, hey, how about we take a rest? We'll find a spot. And the rest of you are all like, nope, don't do it. Because the bad thing is when it comes to doing skill checks, you have disadvantage now because you're that exhausted. So you guys
If they need to rest, they need to rest.
Do you guys stop before you find that sweetheart ambush spot? Or do you power on through? I mean,
if our friends are tired, we need them effective.
Yeah.
I can just do my little meditation.
Okay, so you guys, take a rest, let them recuperate, acknowledging that, hey guys, it's understandable. You push yourselves hard.
Would a short rest be enough?
No, it's got to be a long rest.
Okay.
To get rid of the condition. So you guys basically camp on the side of where you see people have done it before, because there's lots of little spots where you see people have just like dropped trowel and camped out in one spot, or just curled up against a rock to get away from the wind. Because remember, you're getting lashed with the wind, the rain, the occasional rock slide that's happening around you guys. This is not an easy path whatsoever. Next day, you guys come out. It's almost like the god is blessing you because you see just sunlight for the first couple hours of the day. And you find a perfect ambush spot. At least...
there is an exhaustion. There's a exhaustion tracker.
Oh, there is on the character sheet.
Yeah, you just got to go to the settings, and it's on the bottom middle of the page on the right. Show exhaustion tracker.
Okay, good find. So as you can see, you find as the mountain has layer upon layer upon layer and the corkscrew, you find a really good ambush spot. I mean, if one was to ambush, as I pull out my pointer so I can point, up here would be a great spot to hunker down in these rocks and ambush passerbys going around here. Especially seeing as it's like a 40-foot drop, each of these little levels here. It's a 20-foot here, it's a 40-foot down there. You could just chuck rocks at people or shoot people with a bow up there, and they would have a pain in the ass amount of time to climb this little ledge to get up to you. You would totally have them dead to rights. And good. The plus side is it's got enough cover over here that the people coming down the corkscrew don't see you from above. Okay, so you guys are going to set up an ambush there.
Yep.
Okay, so while you're setting up your ambush, and of course, that takes time to get into the good ambush, roll some rocks where you want them. Somebody give me a survival roll.
I'm not rolling.
I
And-
have a 2+2. Yeah, that's better.
Oh, our barbarian's like, I'm keeping us out of trouble. So at one point you see some like weird wind blow by and you hear giggling coming out of the wind and the barbarian's just like, get down! And the wind sprites go flying by and he's just like, get down! And you're just like, what? And then you hear the wind giggling as it flies by and you're just like, okay, yeah, we should avoid that. And basically, it's just some nasty little wind sprites. It probably would have ruined your day if they would have spotted you. But thankfully, the barbarian, is keeping his keen survival instincts on edge because, only like a barbarian can or a catman can. One or the other.
Both.
Okay, so you guys have set up your ambush spot. You're all ready. You've got a little, dug-in nook where you can camp and rest, so that way you can recuperate everything. And of course, the first night, horrible rains are just pelting the side of the hill, and you're just like, why are we here? This place sucks. Everybody give me a Constitution save. Or survival. I'll accept that too if you're doing something cool survival-wise to make your conditions better.
Oh.
Oh!
No!
Oh.
God!
I'm gonna try and use my Oracle Insight to help me.
Son of a bitch.
The
We're on
critical
fire.
The critical failure.
The worst
It's
part,
a long, long shot, but I'm going for it.
the worst
Two
part
critical
is
failures.
Yes! I made it!
the worst part is the Triton who lives under the sea, who's resistant to cold and wet, is shivering in the cold for some reason, probably because this god who's bringing this rain down hates you.
Yeah.
It's the god is purposely saying, no, I hate you. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And you're like a fish trying to acclimate to a fish tank that's just not staying balanced. You're like, tropical color, river color, tropical color, river color. This is killing me. I'm purple, not blue. Okay, so needless to say, each of you guys had the most miserable night ever. Thankfully, your satyr is just like, it's not that bad. As all four of you, I'm sure, give him the death glare of like, shut the fuck up.
I've slept on worse surfaces than this on a...
As he just kind of sinks into the mud and it takes his form. Who knew? A rock falls down just enough to cover him from the complete rain and not smash him in the face. Because fate.
Let me guess. It reminded you of your third wife.
So
we weren't legally married, but yes, she was lovely.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there because all these
I thought
natural
that was
ones.
your fourth wife.
Those guys who didn't make your con save. It's by the way a 12 now. Which, by the way, yes, our satyr did make it thanks to fate being on his side. You're all going to have one level of exhaustion. And on the first day after that, I will tell you for a matter of fact, you see nothing in your ambush spot. You see nothing coming down, no one coming up, and you're just like, this sucks, this is horrible. Why didn't our oracle see this coming?
I was busy
I have an oracle.
foreseeing a nice place to lie down.
You all were like, why did he grab that leaf and he's holding that leaf like an umbrella over his head? So we're going to wrap it up right there. And yes, you get your ambush spot is beautiful, but it looks like on the first full good day, right before you guys can get a rest, you see nothing on the path. Do you guys stay hunkered down till something comes, or do you guys go up or down?
I think we should try and get
Tired.
some
I think we should
sleep
stay here.
and
Okay.
then decide in the morning.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So that's going to be a good place to wrap it up, where you guys are saying, hey, we need to make a rest because all of us are jacked up because those who rolled
So-
natural ones, you have 2 levels of exhaustion, by the way. which means
Aw.
combat checks and abilities have disadvantage.
And speed is half.
Speed is
Yep.
halved and disadvantage on ability checks,
Uh-huh.
according to this.
On the back of the book, yep.
3 is attack rolls and saving throws.
Exhaustion sucks.
4 is hit point maximum halved.
That's when you start dying.
5 is
dead.
speed reduced to 0.
That's when you're crawling across the
It's
That's
desert.
when you're just like, please kill me
6.
now.
I like 6. Death.
At 5, you're looking at the vulture saying, please give me a clean end.
So
Don't start at my feet. Go start at my face. What's that?
experience points, or how are we doing?
Oh, you don't need to worry about those yet.
Okay.
Trust me, there will be leveling up, but it requires you to get to the temple first.
So I'll leave them behind. I'm going to sprint up there.
Barbarian starts leopard pouncing up the hill. It's almost like Kung Fu Panda with a leopard master.
Yes.
He won't be coming back. We know what's up there.
He'll come back when you've gotten kind of gamey and less chewy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will,
Actually, we'd be dehydrated, so it'd be chewier.
yep, you'd be like Himalayan mummies, preserved for posterity.
That's better than a bog mummy.
Ooh,
That's new.
Juicy.
that's nasty.
Oh, you know,
All right, guys, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up there.
That was super fun.
All right,
Oh.
see you guys in
now
2
you
weeks.
changed the map.
Oh no, it's been changed a while. Haven't you
Mine
guys?
just changed.
Oh dear. So this is your ambush spot, and now that you've waited an extra day, trouble might show up.
Yep.
Besides the laughing wind that your barbarian was absolutely like, hey, that shit ain't right, duck. Every like 6 hours it comes whizzing around the mountain again, and he's just like, duck. It could just mean he thinks it's a duck, but you never know.
Yeah.
But bump. See, I gotta end it on a bad joke.
It depends. What's his intelligence again?
I'm not that dumb. I'm perfectly normal.
That's me. I'm that dumb.
Just remember, according to the IQ list, Forrest Gump was a 7.5.
Yeah,
So-
that's only a half a point lower than me.
7.5.
Thanks
That
a
would put his
lot.
IQ at 75.
That was for you to realize. Wisdom is telling you that that's okay.
Here's a tomato. Make a salad.
But it's
Well,
a fruit.
That's what my charisma is for. Is I may be stupid, but at least I'm pretty to look at.
Hey, you know,
You
you
can
can
sell
pull,
that salad.
you can
Two
just
other
be cute.
minotaurs.
You just throw all the fruit and vegetables in a bowl, and then you do the car model. Ta-da! And they're like, I don't care what she's making. I'm going to eat it. Yeah. Marketing tells me if I eat it, I have a chance. All right, guys. I'll be logging off now.
Okay.
See you later.
Later.
All right, later.
Bye.
Right.
It's bedtime.
Yep.
Okay, now.